Cassius held a small celebration in his inner court. However, nothing was small in his concept. It was a grand celebration for the vampires he trusted enough to let into his inner circle. Joyful music and enthusiastic shouts carried across the wide space. It must have been heard throughout the whole palace. Alcohol flowed in streams. There were all kinds of delicious dishes. Dead bodies of half-naked women littered the floor. The smell of blood hung in the air. The soldiers hunted the vampires who could not control themselves so that they would not reveal our existence, while the lords, who did not have the same control over their hunger for blood, enjoyed killing for fun behind the walls of the Red Palace. I always wondered why the Red Palace. Now I know it's because of the spilled blood that nothing can wash out of its bowels. The screams of dying girls echoed through the corridors. It was the same scream that I always heard and didn't know who it belonged to. What my eyes saw was an exact representation of why the people feared the king and why rumors spread about him as they did. Girls who think they've come to entertain the king never make it out alive after crossing the palace gates. Their lifeless corpses were found torn apart in the forest to make it look like wild animals did it, or washed away on the river bank with the story that they drowned. But everyone knows the truth. Everyone knows that horrors are happening in the palace. Everyone knows the king is a monster. Huddled in the corner of the room sat the last girl alive. She was crying. Her eyes were red from tears. The same fate awaited her. She cried and cried. She tried to understand it. She wished she could turn back time. She begged for mercy. And I gave it to her. I approached her. I carefully reached out to her. She was avoiding me. Supplications escaped her lips. "You don't have to be afraid of me." I comforted her. "Please let me go," she said in a weak voice. "I don't want to die." "I won't hurt you," I told her. "Please, I don't want to die," she repeated. "I just want to go home to my family." The words stuck in her throat, and another wave of tears flooded her face like a waterfall. I was aware that Cassius was watching me. I felt the heat of his gaze on my back. I'm sure he heard me. "I'll take you home," I told the girl. She looked at me with startled eyes. A faint spark of hope appeared in them. I held out my hand to her, but she continued to cower in the corner as if that would hide her from the monsters that resided within the palace walls. She didn't trust me. She knew I was the same monster creeping through the darkness as them, and that I could easily kill her. "I won't hurt you," I assured her. "I'll get you out of here." She hesitantly placed her palm in mine. I helped her stand up. She threw herself around my neck. Cassius caught my gaze. He was sprawled out on the couch. He wasn't wearing a shirt. Blood ran down his toned muscles. His lips were red with blood. He watched us carefully. "What's your name?" I asked the girl. "Maya," she replied. "I'm Dragomira," I said. "I know, Your Highness," she said. I led Maya away. All of Cassius' companions turned their attention to us. "Where are you taking her?" They complained. "We're not done with her yet," they said. They had no respect for me. To Cassius, yes. They were afraid of him like everyone else. They addressed him as Your Majesty. However, they had no respect for me as the future queen. Cassius did not interfere. He was waiting for my reaction. Take her to my chambers and give her new clothes. I ordered the guards as hers were torn. Give her some silver and take her home. I expect you to ensure that nothing happens to her. Maya looked at me hesitantly. I turned back to the disgruntled courtiers. Your bride took our dessert, Your Majesty, said Lady Brenna. Her black hair flowed over her shoulders. Her skin was as pale as snow. Her blood blended with her naturally red lips. She was beautiful. She lay on top of Cassius and he let her. He seemed to like it. You should have killed her, Dragomira, Cassius told me. What if she will talk about this? We can't afford her to reveal who we are. In that case, it will only be your fault, I said with venom on my tongue. Anyway, everyone already knows that. It's a public secret. Then it doesn't matter if she dies or if she lives, said Cassius. And that's why she'll live, I said forcefully. Lady Amelia approached me. She was Lady Brenna's best friend. She wrapped a strand of my hair around her finger. The Queen is ruining our fun, Your Majesty, she said. I stared at her. If she thought she was going to freak me out, she was wrong. She wanted to caress my cheeks with the back of her hand, but before she could touch me, Cassius stopped her hand. In the blink of an eye, he was standing next to us, gripping her wrist tightly. Did I let you touch her? Cassius said angrily. No, Your Majesty, replied Lady Amelia. There was a fear in her eyes that only Cassius could instill in them. You know very well that I don't like anyone touching what is mine, said Cassius. Yes, Your Majesty, she said. The cheerful mood was replaced by tension. His courtiers watched the spectacle with bated breath. Then don't let it happen again, Cassius said in a menacingly cold voice and broke her arm. A pained scream escaped her mouth. The bone broke through her flesh and showed itself to the world. She fell to the ground. Blood poured from her open wound. A red puddle formed on the black marble. She got her red dress dirty. It blended with their color. Ever since the king presented me in red, all the ladies at court dress in red. It was funny how they tried to curry his favor. If her blood continues to flow at this rate, she will die. Cassius was not stupid. He knew what he was doing. He wanted to kill her. I hope you've learned from this. He glared at them. Footsteps carried me away. I didn't want to take part in this perverted fun of his, and after one experience, I won't want any more. Not even Cassius' order will compel me. Not that Cassius' orders wouldn't bring me there now. Cassius caught up and stopped me. He grabbed my wrist tightly and pulled me back to him. We were out of sight of his court. Where are you going? He said. I'm going back to my chambers, I replied. I want you near me, Cassius said. You want many things, and only a few of them I can give you. Or rather, I want to give, I said. You can give me this, so make yourself want it, Cassius objected. I think I'd rather leave you and your court alone, I said. I want to be in private with you, Cassius said. You're drunk, Cassius, I told him. Let me go. I wanted to leave, but Cassius held me tight. His grip on my hand tightened. He refused to let me go. He pressed me to his powerful chest. He was covered in blood. It hurts, Cassius. I snapped at him. Let her go, Bale told him. Cassius let go of me and turned to his brother. He took a step towards him. He stared at him. Bale was not afraid of him and matched him with attitude. You're forgetting where you belong, Bale, Cassius told him irritably. The more time I spent in their company, the more I noticed disagreements between them. There was a silent war raging between them, which they did not declare outwardly. Dragomira is not your toy, Bale told him. I'm afraid she became one the moment she accepted my proposal. Cassius grinned wickedly. You didn't give her a choice, Bale objected. I stood between them. The tension between them was boiling hot. They looked at each other, killing staring. You really took that as a challenge, Cassius, to act like a fool, didn't you? I told him. He turned his cruel gaze on me. He retreated. I took Bale's hand and together we went to my rooms. Until we were out of sight of Cassius, I felt the heat of his gaze on my back. I didn't look back on him. I didn't hesitate. I lay down in bed and sighed deeply. Bale lay down next to me. I'd tell you you'd get used to it over time, but I'd be lying, Bale said. I haven't gotten used to his moods in centuries. He's just drunk, I objected. I also saw the good in him. He was gallant at the tournament. Watch your words. Dragomira, or I'll think you're starting to like him. Bale laughed lightly. I rolled my eyes. I'm just saying he has his bright moments. He sent you to your death in the arena. He was just correcting his own mistakes. Bale objected. Also, I used to think there was some good in him, but I lost that hope a long time ago. All he cares about is to make everyone afraid of him. When everything went wrong at the tournament, I saw you talking to King Noir, I remarked. I didn't want to talk about Cassius anymore. What were you talking about? It's about Balmor, Bale replied. Does he have the support of King Noir's army? I wondered. Is that why they're attacking us? King Noir attacks Tosca because he is a conqueror. But Balmor has the support of the hunters to take the throne, he said. This made me wonder if Balmor was among the hunters. If he took the throne, he would definitely not leave the vampires alive. We would become game animals. If he brought the hunters to the royal court, it would be a massacre on both sides. I know I have to wait for my chance, but the hunters and King Noir present new obstacles and threats to face. So King Noir knows what we are. It wasn't a question, more of a statement. Yes, Bale confirmed. Vampires are no longer legends, nightmares of the night. I could have expected that moment with Cassius at the tournament was just a fleeting moment. As if it was a challenge for him that he was trying to fulfill, to prove that he is the monster everyone thinks he is. And maybe Bale was right, and it was his nature. I didn't want to lose hope in him, but he didn't give me a choice, like never before. I too had my dark moments, which seemed like he had all his life. Alexei was my light in the darkness, and I wanted to be Cassius, but he was pushing me away. Any hint of light in the darkness was instantly extinguished. I wanted to believe in him, but he made it impossible. Baal snuck into my chambers. Cassius was certainly unaware of his presence. He was sneaking around suspiciously. "What do you want here?" I asked him. "See you," he replied. "Then why did you sneak in?" I stared at him in disbelief. "Cassius forbade me to come near you," he said. "Only if you're not in his presence." "Why only in his presence?" I wondered. "Because then no one can get close to you if they don't want to lose hand. In a good case," said Baal. "He can't do that," I said. "He's a king. He can do anything," said Baal. "Cassius is really resourceful when it comes to torture. He cut me off from my family, now from you. There's no way he can keep me from you, Dragomira." He gently brushed unruly strands of hair behind my ear. He looked deep into my eyes. He kissed me. The touch of his lips was careful, uncertain. I don't remember him like that. "Why are you doing this?" I asked him. "What?" He didn't understand. "Love someone else, and here was kissing me," I said. "Why can't I love two women at once?" said Baal. "I care about you, Dragomira. I want you. I desire you." "Don't lie to me, Baal. You are the king of manipulation. Unfortunately, I'm resistant to your tricks," I told him. "What if I just want things to be like they used to be between us?" Baal said, "Just you and me." "I will become your brother's wife. It will never be the same ever again." I wasn't naive. He certainly had ulterior motives. I knew him too well to believe him. Apparently, he wants to involve me in the murder of his brother. However, Cassius doesn't trust anyone, least of all me. He knew that if I had the dagger, I would take the opportunity to break free. "Don't be like him, Dragomira. Don't close yourself off from me," Baal said. "I don't want to lose you, Baal," I said. "But Cassius wouldn't be thrilled to find you here. He divides us. I will talk to him. I will not allow him to divide us." I kissed him. I don't even know why. I felt a trap in his kisses, and still, I let myself be caught in it. Maybe I wanted to turn back time at least for a moment. I wanted to be the person I was when everything was simple, when I wasn't yet to become queen, when Cassius didn't plan to kill me and mess with my head, when I didn't know him at all, when I felt nothing. But was it really me, or was it just a pretense? Is this me, that confused girl who doesn't know what she wants? I went to see Cassius. I wanted to blame him that he cannot cut me off from the world. I had to leave my father. I hardly see my brother anymore. He can't take Baal from me either. I knew exactly what I wanted to say to him, but when I burst into his chambers, I was at a loss for words. He was accompanied by two young girls. They were his maids. I recognized them. They lay naked in his bed. I suddenly felt a surge of anger in me. I felt betrayed despite the fact that there was never anything between us. I had to remind myself that it was just a game to Cassius, a deliberate move in his strategy, also his gallantry at the tournament. There was nothing more to it. I had to remind myself that he brought me to the palace for one reason only, to make me a plaything in his twisted games until he gets tired of my company. However, I was still angry when I saw him there like that. I felt so alone. Because of him, he took everything from me. "I hope you're having fun," I told him irritably. Cassius glanced at me briefly, as if he hadn't even noticed my intrusion into his bedroom. He was drunk again. I have to admit I'm having a pretty good time, but your company would make it better, Dragomira, he said. You can join if you want. I would be pleased to join, I said. Cassius looked at me with surprise on his face at my answer. He couldn't hide his emotions when he was drunk. His usually stone mask crumbled to dust. I approached his bed. I fixed my gaze on him. Cassius returned the look. One of the girls stood up to help me undress. I allowed her to approach me, but then I turned to her and bit into her throat. I felt the sweetness of her blood on my tongue. She tried to tear me away. She dug her nails into my skin to make me let her go. She wailed. She begged. I felt her heart beating frantically in her chest, fighting for life. I also felt it when the beating stopped. Her body relaxed. I let her go. She fell to the floor as a limp pile of flesh and bones. The other girl yelped in terror. She tried to run away from the same fate, but I caught her and broke her neck. She fell dead on the floor near her friend. Cassius' eyes burned with pure fury. The same flame that burned in me ignited in him. What did you do? Anger sounded in his voice. I thought you liked it that way, I said, gracefully wiping the blood from my bottom lip with my thumb. I licked my finger. Cassius pushed me hard against the wall. I hit my head. He held me by the neck. His grip was strong, forceful. He was choking me. I gasped for air, but none came. I grabbed his hand, tried to push him away. However, his grip only strengthened. He took one tinier step towards me. I felt the warmth of his body. He wasn't naked, but he wore no shirt. I felt his breath on my face. Let me go, Cassius, or I'll pass out, I told him in a choked voice. His grip loosened slightly, but he still held me by the neck. He didn't back away from me. Fury flashed in his eyes. How dare you kill them without my permission? Cassius said irritably. You would have killed them anyway, I retorted. Does it really matter which one of us ended it? Don't ever allow yourself to think that just because I kill them eventually, you can do it sooner. He strained through gritted teeth. What if I kill you now, Dragomira? That's what you're planning anyway, I said. That's probably why preparations for the wedding haven't started yet. You obviously don't plan on me living until then. Do you wish to die so much, Dragomira? He asked me. You can't keep me here as your prisoner in a golden cage. Cut me off from my family. Ban me from going out of the palace and expect me not to fight back while you're having fun. I told him exasperatedly. If you miss the fun, you can replace them, Cassius said angrily, biting my neck. I felt his fangs cut through the skin of my neck, penetrating the flesh. I felt a sharp pain. I felt the life draining from me. A scream escaped my lips. I dug my nails into his hands with which he held me tightly. His grip did not loosen. I tried to push him away from me, but he was too strong. Cassius, begging, his name slipped from my lips. He tore his fangs from my neck. He looked at me like a predator at its prey. He licked his lips gracefully. Fear ran through my veins. My heart was racing. He bit into the same wound again and continued to drain the life out of me. A scream escaped my throat. Cassius kept killing me. My hand felt the handle of the dagger. I pulled it out of the case and jabbed it between Cassius' ribs. I pulled it out and thrust it into him again and again and again. I had his blood on my hand. Cassius let me go. I fell to the ground. He grunted in pain. He backed away from me. He held a wound that healed almost instantly. However, unlike his, mine remained. I held my neck. My fingers were stained with my own blood. Cassius glared at me. I have never seen such anger in his eyes. He walked towards me. I aimed the dagger at him. He stopped. His lips were red from my blood. A deep red streak ran down his chin. We stared at each other. I was shaking. If I had not felt fear until today, then now, at this moment, I was afraid of Cassius. "Don't come near me," I told him. "Don't ever come near me again." Cassius remained standing. I scrambled to my feet. I felt like I was going to fall to the ground again at any moment. I felt weak from the lost blood. I walked past Cassius with slow, uncertain steps. I kept aiming my dagger at him. He was following me, my every step. He was a predator and I was his prey. I managed to get to the door. I didn't turn my back on Cassius. I felt the doorknob. The door has opened. I passed through. As the door closed behind me again, I ran away. I ran for my life. Apparently, my life was at stake. Cassius was raging, and when Cassius is raging, someone always loses their life. As I ran, I heard the door fly open. I looked over my shoulder. I didn't see anything. That's when I bumped into his powerful body. He caught me. "Are you going somewhere, darling?" he said. I was trying to get him to let me go, but this time he wasn't going to let me go. I wanted to stab him, but he caught my hand and pulled the dagger from my hand. I took advantage of it and slipped out of his grip. "Get out of here," I said, "far from you." "I don't think so." He stopped me in my tracks. I took off the ring he had given me, which said of our engagement. I threw it at him. It landed on the marble floor with a clatter. "You think you can hold me?" I challenged him. The guards held me. They were older than me, so stronger. I couldn't break away from them. I was ready for whatever Cassius had prepared for me. What I did, however, I did not expect even in my worst nightmare. The royal guards brought Alexei. He was not in his uniform. I saw the confusion on his face. He had no idea what was going on. It occurred to me immediately. I knew what Cassius was up to, and I didn't want to believe that he would do it. Alexei noticed that I was covered in blood. Concern was reflected in his eyes. He wanted to run towards me, but the guards stopped him. "Dragomira," he shouted, trying to get to me. "Dragomira." "Alexei." I tried to reach him, but I was also held. They brought him before the king. Alexei refused to bow before him, so they kicked him to his knees. "What did you do to my sister?" Alexei asked him with venom on his tongue and defiance in his body. Cassius seemed oblivious to his presence. He didn't even look at him. "Cassius, don't do it," I begged him. "No, Cassius." Cassius turned his attention to me. He gave me a cruel look. He didn't answer. He was silent. His silence said it all. He was cold. "Cassius," I urged. They tore Alexei's shirt. They exposed his back. His resistance was futile. A soldier with a whip approached him. He tensed and swung. The sound of the leather strap digging into his skin is etched in my memory forever. Alexei tried to be strong. He wanted to be strong for me, but he couldn't stop the cry of pain from escaping his lips. "No," I screamed. Another whiplash and another and another. Every blow hit my brother. Cassius watched with cruel pleasure. "No," tears streamed down my face. "Stop it, Cassius." He didn't listen to me. He heard my words but chose to ignore them. He was looking at me. He saw my tears. His stony expression was back on his face, but I'm sure he was glad to see me so broken. I was forced to watch how drops of blood shot out of my brother's back with every flick. I had to watch the pain written on his face. His resignation with which he accepted a punishment that was my fault. He fixed his eyes on me and I couldn't help him. It was my fault, and my punishment was to watch it all. "Please, Cassius," I said in a small voice. He stopped it. Apparently, he decided that it was already enough. He finally stopped it. Alexei fell face down on the ground. I saw blood running down his back. I wanted to go to my brother, but the guards kept holding me and wouldn't let me. New tears kept streaming down my face. Cassius wiped the tears from my face with the back of his hand. I backed away. With the cruelty he showed, it was an unnatural tenderness. "Don't touch me," I said with all the resistance I could muster. "I hope you have learned, dear Dragomira, that your actions have consequences," Cassius said. "Aren't you still afraid of me?" "No," I retorted. "I'm disgusted." At that moment, I wished I could hold that dagger that Baal owns and drive it straight into Cassius' heart. I wanted to see him bleeding from wounds that would not heal. I wanted him to die for what he did to my brother. Cassius laughed briefly to himself. "Ready to love, so you learn to hate." I swear to the gods that. Alexei was lying in my bed. His face was buried in the pillows. I treated his wounds. He only had them because of me. Cassius had no right to do that to him. I should have been the one to bear his wrath. I carefully washed off the blood with cold water. From the wounds on the back, a new one was springing up. He was covered in blood. The flesh on his back was torn. The wounds ran deep. It will heal badly even with our abilities. He winced in pain with every touch. I wished I could transfer his pain to myself. He didn't deserve it. "I'm so sorry, brother," I said, fighting back tears. "Forgive me." "I have nothing to forgive you, sister," said Alexei as if nothing had happened. "It's the king's fault." However, I provoked him. I objected. "Don't defend him," said Alexei. "You're always looking for a light in every monster that isn't there. You won't find it in him." Maybe I wanted to see the good in him so much that I blinded myself with delusions. I said, "Some people are just born evil, Dragomira," remarked Alexei. "I was hoping I could be his light like you were mine, brother. I daydreamed a little." "But his darkness will suffocate you at the end," said Alexei. His wounds were ugly red. I can imagine how terribly it must have hurt, how he must suffer. He pretends to be strong just so I don't have any regrets, but I had them anyway. I put a towel soaked in cold water on his back to cool his wounds a little. It flushed with fresh blood. "I'm sorry," I repeated. "He should have done it to me." I wouldn't let him do that. Alexei objected. You wouldn't have a choice, I said. In that, he remembered the blood on my neck. You're hurt too, Dragomira. He tried to sit up, his face contorted in pain. I pushed him back to lie down. I'm fine, I said. You need to rest. I've been through worse. He laughed lightly, but even the laughter seemed to hurt him. He took a wet rag from my hand and washed the blood from my neck. He looked at my wound. Did he bite you? He was horrified. It's nothing, I said. It's gone in the morning. Of course, I lied. It was profound. Cassius was careful not to tear the flesh, but it would take a few days to heal. However, his wounds were incomparably worse. He needed a healer. Dragomira. He gave me a worried look. You can't stay here. If I even try to escape, he will kill you. I won't risk it. I refused such a possibility. If you stay, he will kill you, Alexei countered. That was his plan from the beginning. I'm just his toy, I admitted. Alexei's eyes widened in shock. He wanted to say something, but the words wouldn't come out of his throat. Why didn't you tell me? He stammered at last. Because you would do something stupid, I replied. Please, don't tell Father Alexei, I urged. He would stand against the king, and you know very well he would kill him. You know I can't, said Alexei. Promise you won't fight for me, I demanded. There was sadness in his eyes as if he had already lost me. There was defeat in him. Promise. Alexei was sleeping. He wasn't the type to like sleep, but the pain quickly put him to sleep. At least in his dreams, he could rest from it. Bale snuck into my rooms. How did you get here? I wondered. Cassius had the door guarded. Look who's guarding them. He grinned. I went to have a look. I opened the door and saw a familiar face. You, I couldn't help but wonder. Miss Dragomira, Balmor said. You really are a wolf in sheep's clothing, I said. And how did you get through the rest of the guards? I asked Bale. I'm sure Cassius has more than enough here. What happened is spreading among the guards. They will let me go to see you, he replied. So Cassius is being defied by his own army. You too are really undermining his power. You do, Dragomira, Bale argued. They see you defying him, so they do too. That's why Cassius wants to tame you so much. He didn't realize the consequences of what it would mean to have you as his bride. And besides, your brother is popular among the guards. They didn't like it when Cassius had him flogged for you. Even though your brother is a vampire, he's a good man, Balmor said. The commander of the guards refused to carry out that order, and Cassius had him executed for it, Bale noted. Your brother will become the new commander of the guards when he recovers. Cassius must really want your forgiveness. No, I said. Alexei cannot become the commander of the guards. He will take advantage of that position and try to save me. Cassius will kill him. In that case, Cassius must die first, Bale said. I sighed deeply. I'll kill him. I let myself be drawn into their plans for regicide. Really? Balmor and Bale looked at me in surprise. I'll kill him, I said with conviction. Now he had Alexei flogged. What will he do next? He is a monster and must die. Balmor drew his dagger and handed it to me. It was a simple dagger with a wooden handle that had characters burned into it in a language I didn't understand. It looked old. I took it in my hand. I immediately felt the power pulsing in it. It was not an ordinary dagger, not by chance. You carry it with you all the time. I raised my eyebrows in question. I don't want to miss the chance to stab my father in the heart with it, he replied with a wicked smirk. I pushed him against the wall and put the dagger to his neck. The blade cut into his skin. How do I know you'll make a better king? I told him. A human will take the throne and all the vampires will end up on the run from the hunters. You definitely don't need to worry about me, replied Balmor. Bale has always been like a father to me. I know that not all vampires are evil. You will be judged just like people. You won't have to hide anymore. Dragomira. There was a warning in Bale's voice. So I let go of Balmor. I kept the dagger. Just to make it clear. I do it for myself and my family. I have nothing to do with your coup. I don't even expect anything more from you, Bale said. Despite my objections and his not yet fully healed wounds, Alexei returned to duty. He said it is his honor and that we could not show the king that he could break us. And so, despite the pain, he held his head up proudly. It wasn't so easy for me to pretend that nothing happened, especially when I still had the memory of it on my neck. I had to hide it under my collar. Not because I didn't want to show the court what Cassius was like. I would have gladly done it so everyone could see the monster I had to live with, but to protect myself. They might think I'm weak, and I can't afford that. I slept peacefully in my bed. It was night. The vampires of the palace roamed somewhere in the depths of its darkness, so dreaming was safe. I was tossing and turning in bed. The wound from Cassius' teeth still hurt, and I couldn't sleep because of it. Despite the thick darkness winding through the room and the silence that whispered lullabies. I heard the door to my chambers open. Someone came in. I immediately recognized him by his steps. The bedroom door handle moved. Cassius entered. He radiated energy that filled the entire room. I closed my eyes and pretended to sleep. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't even want to look at him. I was hoping that he would believe my pretense and just leave. My heart was pounding fast, but maybe he'll think it's just bad dreams. I heard his steps as he approached the window. He pulled back the curtain. I carefully opened one eye and stared at him. He looked at the landscape hidden in the veil of night. He looked sad. He looked over his shoulder and his eyes fell on me. I immediately closed my eyes again. Hoped he hadn't noticed I was awake. I heard his steps lead him to my bed. I felt his burning gaze on me. I felt him lay down next to me in bed. We were lying there next to each other. He was looking at me and I was trying to fake sleep. My breath was trembling. With a gentle touch, Cassius brushed the hair away from my face. His fingers were shaking. He brushed the hair off my neck. He stared at the wound he left me with. He touched it carefully, not wanting to wake me. I'm sorry, Dragomira. A whisper escaped his lips. At that moment, I thought I was really dreaming. I couldn't believe that those words actually came from his mouth. He was drunk. I could smell it from him. However, even if those words were sincere, I could not forgive him. I felt a burning hatred for him that was eating me alive. I regretted that I didn't have the magic dagger right under my pillow and couldn't kill him right then and there. Its hideout was too far away for me to stand a chance. I trembled near him, the memory of his cruelty still replaying in my mind. He threw a blanket over me to keep me warm. Although I wasn't shivering because I was cold, and I think he knew that. He remained lying there next to me as if he was waiting for me to wake up. I wanted him to leave, so I never opened my eyes. Gradually, it lulled me into real sleep. Cassius consulted with his advisors and commanders. They were supposed to solve the crisis in the north. The news kept coming in about the invasion of King Noir's troops from Odora. He became more and more daring, a human king who thought he would conquer the vampire kingdom. People were starving. They needed to figure out how to prevent the impending civil war. The people rebelled against the crown that did not protect them and that exploited them. Against a crown they weren't sure even existed for years. I was also present. Cassius requested my presence. It was an order and there was no way to refuse. I was constantly accompanied by guards. I was forbidden to carry weapons. However, I still carried the dagger that Balmor had given me. I had it hidden under the skirt of the dress. I wanted to take advantage of the moment when he was off guard and kill him. It was well hidden so that Cassius would not find it. I don't even want to think about the consequences if he would have. Cassius talked to the commanders about war strategy. Alexei was one of them. I felt him still looking at me. I couldn't look at him. I told him not to accept the position of guard commander, but he wouldn't be my brother if he listened to me. Despite the circumstances, it was an honor for him. I didn't listen to anything that was said there. I caught words about moving troops and wagons with food and medical aid for the people, but I didn't pay attention. I liked war strategy, but I didn't have the strength to deal with it now. The wounds on my skin healed, but I was still bleeding inside. My body was there, but my mind was in my own world. In a world without borders, without royal courts and intrigues, without Cassius. What do you think, Dragomira? Cassius' voice woke me from my daydream. What? I said, confused. Everybody out, Cassius ordered. Those present looked at each other seriously. Instantly, Cassius pointed out. Now everyone has obeyed. Only Alexei hesitated. He was looking at me. I gave him a look that everything would be fine. I wasn't sure about it myself. Do you want something, Alexei? Cassius told him. No, Your Majesty, replied Alexei. Alexei left. Me and Cassius were left alone. Did I do something wrong? I asked him. You've been so quiet lately, Cassius remarked. Kind of tame. That's what you wanted, Your Majesty, wasn't it? I told him. A puppet that you can control. Someone who will tell you what a wonderful king you are. I wanted to tame you, not turn you into a mindless puppet, Cassius objected. And in your attempt to tame me, you broke me, Your Majesty, I replied. I surrender to you. A shadow flickered through his mask. He wanted to say something, but then closed his mouth. Don't call me Your Majesty. You know I don't like it, he finally said. It always sounds like an insult coming from you. As you wish, Your Majesty. I even bowed to him. Cassius sighed. He rolled his eyes. I want you to be the way you were before, he said. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Your Majesty, I said. You want many things, and they are mutually exclusive. But I can promise you that I will always be honest with you. So tell me what you think of my plan to help our people, said Cassius. I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but I wasn't paying attention. What are your plans? Autumn is coming. Winter will come quickly. We send food to people. The invasion of the troops destroyed everything. We will also close the borders, and they will be guarded by soldiers 24 hours a day against further attacks, he told me. Your people will appreciate any help, I said honestly. Our people, he corrected me. You will become queen, and so they will be your people as well. They are also your people. There was a wide gap between us. We could both feel it. The room was cold. Neither of us knew exactly what to say, as if all words were wrong. However, every time I looked at him, I felt terrible anger. On him, on me, to the whole world. Tell me, Dragomira. Cassius cut through the heavy silence. You know people, you know what they need. How would you help them, he asked me. And be honest, you don't have to bite your tongue. I have nothing to offer your kingdom, Your Majesty, I replied after an almost endless moment of hesitation. You say you didn't know about the suffering of your people, but the truth is that Tosca is falling apart because you didn't care. You want me to prove that I will be a good queen, but I can never prove that if you are a bad king. The words silenced him. I could feel him trying to get closer to me, but my words repelled him. If I answered your questions, am I allowed to leave? I asked him. If you wish, he said coldly. However, before I left, he told me, the wedding will take place on the day of the autumnal equinox. It was the day I was transformed. You're the only one who knows it now. It was sort of his own way of apologizing. You are the only one who knows. My little secret, our secret. I want it to be a new beginning, with you. Remember how you told me that I didn't find happiness because maybe I didn't find the right person. I reminded him. Cassius nodded. For a second I thought it might be you, I said. I was willing to love even the monster in you until you turned it against me. And how do you feel about me now? He asked hesitantly. I hate you. I gave him his answer. You keep me here as your prisoner. You are using my brother as a hostage against me. If you're implying that I made him the commander of the royal guards, he deserved that position. He follows orders better than others. He is good at fighting. Faithful, even if his faithfulness now turns more to you. Men trust and respect him. I would offer him the place anyway. He was my first choice, Cassius said. I know he deserves it, I said and left. I walked through the corridors of the palace. After our last conversation, Cassius called off the guards who had been guarding me constantly. He must have gotten the feeling that I wasn't going to try to run away. Nor is it. I'll kill him. It's the only way to free myself and protect my family. I walked around the lounge where Lady Brenna was sitting. She was constantly surrounded by courtiers as if she were a queen. Everyone wanted to be close to her. I preferred to avoid her. Every time I saw her, I wanted to throw her in the sun. It would be fun to watch her burn. as her flesh gradually blackens until it finally bursts into flames and crumbles into dust. I realize that Cassius is not the only one who has his own demons. I don't judge him for them either. He is a threat to me and my family, and that is the only reason I have to get rid of him. I just wanted to pass by inconspicuously, but when I heard my name, I stopped and listened. "I don't understand what the king sees in her," said Lady Brenna. "She is brave," said Lord Broderick, the king's advisor. "His Majesty hasn't been challenged like this in a long time, and he likes it." "I heard he's already managed to break her," Lady Brenna said mockingly. "Absolutely not," Broderick countered. "Even her submission is a sign of defiance." "I heard she tried to kill the king," Lord Maven remarked. "Several times," confirmed Lord Broderick. "King Cassius must have gone mad when he brought her here," said Lady Brenna. "He should get rid of her quickly. It used to be more fun with him before." "Jealous, Lady Brenna," Lord Broderick smirked. "Never," she snapped. "He will eventually get tired of her and come back to me. After all, I am the king's favorite." "Apparently, you are no longer his favorite, Lady Brenna." I came out of my hiding place. Lord Broderick laughed lightly. A mischievous smile graced his lips. Everyone present was obviously looking forward to the show. "You are not his first toy, Miss Dragomira. But remember, the king loses interest very quickly, and you will be no different." Her lips curled into a wicked smile. "And yet I'm the one he's going to make queen." I returned her wicked smile. "He will put the crown on my head and not yours." "A crown will not save you from his wrath, Miss Dragomira." A spark of anger flashed in her eye. "King Cassius is capricious and moody. How long do you think you can last?" "Rather how long Cassius can last with me." Her face betrayed anger when I used that confidential addressment. It was an addressment that only I and his brother were allowed. "He seems to like it when I try to kill him." The ladies and gentlemen present obviously enjoyed my audacity, and it was driving Lady Brenna insane. "I've heard that your audacity has its limits, too." She alluded to how he had my brother flogged for me. Even though Cassius was torturing me in private, even though he didn't want to humiliate me in front of the whole court, there was talk. It was talked about among the guards, and it got to the courtiers as well. "We can find out who His Majesty prefers," I said. "His forgotten favorite who hasn't yet realized her time is up, or his betrothed." I approached the window with small steps. I walked proudly with my head held high. In arrogance, I could match Lady Brenna, who was disappointed in her expectations that she would one day become queen. I didn't take my eyes off her. We stared at each other. The others held their breath. "And how do you want to find out, Miss Dragomira?" she asked me. "Simple," I said. I grabbed the curtain and tore it down. I let light into the room hidden under the cloak of darkness. Daylight illuminated the courtiers. They screamed in pain. I quickly hid in the shadows. I laughed. The lords and ladies retreated into the shadows. However, the sun has already marked them painfully. "You," Lady Brenna gritted angrily. She stepped towards me, but I pulled open another curtain, cutting off her path. The sun shone on her. She screamed. She withdrew. What's going on here? Cassius appeared between us. Nothing, dear Cassius, I replied. I just tripped and accidentally pulled the curtain. She pulled it off on purpose. Lady Brenna objected. Cassius looked at his sunburnt courtiers. He turned to me. He knew exactly what happened without me admitting it. His eyes sparkled. He approached me. The sunlight illuminated his handsome features. His dark eyes turned liquid gold in the light. He took my palm in his. He kissed me on the cheek. He gave me a mischievous smile. You are wicked, dear Dragomira, he said. A smile bloomed on my lips. Cassius offered me his shoulder, which I warmly accepted. He led me away. He shielded me from the sun with his body. Cassius, Lady Brenna couldn't believe her eyes. Cassius gave her a murderous look. I don't know that I would allow you to address me like that in confidence, Lady Brenna, he told her coldly. If you don't want to lose your language, you'll never do it again. Yes, Your Majesty, she said humbly. We obviously already know the answer to who he prefers, Lord Broderick said quietly, but everyone heard. Cassius chose to ignore it. Have you finally decided to drop the formality? He asked me as we walked down the hall. No, Your Majesty, I replied. So you're just using it to intimidate my courtiers. He gave me a questioning look. I only use the weapons you left me. Your Majesty, I said. Any sharp thing in your hands is dangerous. I will not offer you blades, Cassius said. I want my dagger back anyway, I said. We'll make a barter, Dragomira, Cassius said, pushing me against the wall. It was so violent that it almost took my breath away. My heart raced. He held my hands above my head. We were there alone and so close to each other. I will return you your dagger if you call me Cassius again. I'm sure I'll find a way to steal it back. I gave him a mischievous smile. Cassius rolled his eyes. He laughed briefly. It was strange to see him genuinely laugh. You say that you obediently surrender to me, but you do not know how to obey orders, he said. I can order you to call me Cassius, but you will call me Your Majesty anyway. I now understand why you turned down a spot in the Royal Guard. You wouldn't last long with that attitude. I'm mad at you, Your Majesty, I said. You have no right to be mad at me, Dragomira, Cassius objected. I will definitely not apologize to you. Now he says he won't apologize to me, but I remember very well how those words slipped from his lips that night. But he was drunk back then. He probably doesn't remember himself. You tortured my brother, I told him, irritated. Your brother did not deserve my anger, I admit that. That's why I apologize to him. You apologize to him? I stared at him in shock. He didn't tell me. I forbade him. Why? You might still think that there is good in me. Don't be misled by small acts of grace. Those little acts of grace that you hide from the world say who you really are, not the pretense you show to everyone. Just because I can do good doesn't mean I'm not bad. Are you pretending to the world that you're evil, Dragomira? Rather, sometimes I feel like I'm pretending to be good. Did the king apologize to you? I asked Alexei. Yes, he replied. It was strange, but he did it. Why didn't you tell me? I wondered. The king did not wish it, he said. You don't have to keep it a secret from me, Alexei, I told him, even though the king wants you to. I don't like the king, but I am the commander of the king's guard, Dragomira. I will carry out his orders without hesitation, said Alexei confidently. But you also have secrets that you don't tell me. What are you referring to? I didn't understand. I heard you that night with Prince Bale and Balmor. You want to kill the king. He surprised me. Don't blame me, I told him. When I came here, you wanted me to run away. We both know it can't be done, so I found another way. Killing the king is madness, Dragomira argued Alexei. I don't want you to get caught up in the prince's games. You will end up badly. Cassius wants to kill me. I'll just kill him before he kills me, I said. Prince Bale and I may have different goals, but we share the same path. The king is better with you, he remarked hesitantly. Now you want to defend him. I looked at him in disbelief. I remember when you were hurt after he had you whipped and you begged me to run. He wouldn't have apologized before you came here. He wouldn't even let you whip before. What will he do next? Will he kill you to prove his power to me? He is immortal. Even so, you won't be able to kill him, said Alexei, annoyed. I have a dagger that will kill him. I gave him a victorious look. Where did you get it from? He asked me. Balmor, I replied. And where did he get it from? Asked Alexei. He's Cassius' son, I said. At least that's what he says. So is it true what is being said? The king's illegitimate son came for the throne. He really wants the throne, but I don't know if he is Cassius' son or not. I don't trust him very much, not even Bale. He had an affair with the maid. It can also be his son, I stated. How come you know all that? They think I'm stupid, so they don't hold their tongues in front of me. I smirked. What are you doing? Cassius asked me, confused. I sat on the floor of the library, hidden in the shadows, the curtain half drawn, looking out as the day dawned. A trickle of golden light was entering the room. I'm watching the sunrise, Your Majesty, I replied. Cassius sat down next to me. He sat in the light and I in the dark. I looked at him. He looked at me. Our eyes met. The morning sun illuminated his handsome features. His skin looked pale in the light. The eyes were the color of gold. An unruly strand of his raven hair fell into those beautiful, bewitching eyes of his. He was handsome. I wonder what he sees when he looks at me. What does he think of me? His thoughts remain a mystery to me. Are you missing a day? He asked me. No, I answered. I adore the night. Its silence and mystery. But sometimes I miss the dawn, that promise of a new beginning. I felt wonderful. I've never felt better. I wanted to dance, scream, laugh. Maybe I was a little drunk, just a little, but everything seemed beautiful to me. I ran out into the courtyard. I was dressed only in a light night gown. The fresh breeze of the last touches of summer caressed my exposed skin. The night was beautiful. The divine silence disturbed only by the chirping of crickets. The ebony heavens were adorned with thousands, if not millions of stars, shining like the brightest jewels. The sickle of the crescent moon hovered high among them. I reached out my hands to them. I wanted to touch them. I wanted to be absorbed by them. I wanted to become a star, so beautiful and untouchable. I walked through the gardens. I walked barefoot on the grass. I felt the living earth under my feet. The sweet scent of flowers wafted through the air. I caressed the petals with a gentle touch. The white heads of the roses almost shone in the night landscape. I ran my fingers along their thorns, so beautiful and so dangerous. I caught them in my palm and let them cut my skin. I felt pain but expected it to be more painful. I let go. I licked the blood off my palm. It tasted so sweet, so good. I climbed into the fountain. The water was cold. It reached to my knees. It was hard to walk in it, but that didn't stop me from dancing in the water. The skirt tangled under my legs. I was humming tunes. I felt hot. I felt like a fire was eating me from the inside. I needed to cool down. I let my body fall into the fountain. I was swallowed by the water. It deafened my senses. The surrounding world fell silent. I opened my eyes. The sky above me rippled. A shadow loomed over me. He reached out his hands to me, and I reached out to him. I wanted him to take me. He pulled me to the surface. Cassius pulled me back to my feet. I was weak. When he let me go, I staggered and he had to catch me again. He held me tightly in his arms. Dragomira. My name escaped his lips. I couldn't help but smile. I loved it when he said my name. From his mouth sounded so beautiful, so graceful. The way he added emphasis on the R drove me crazy. In a good way. I liked it way too much. Dragomira. He repeated my name because I didn't listen to him. Dragomira. I just wanted to hear my name being said. Dragomira. You're on fire, Cassius said. I put my finger to his lips. Cassius looked at me confused. I love how you say my name, I told him. Are you drunk, Dragomira? He asked me. Maybe a little, I replied. Say my name again. Dragomira, he said. You have to go back inside. Dawn is coming. I would like to see one more time how the sun rises from behind the horizon and the morning rays sparkle on the sea surface. I dreamed. Dance with me. Inside, he said. Now you have to come with me or you'll burn. I pressed myself to him. I wrapped my arms around his neck. I could feel his heart beating in his chest, so powerful and peaceful. Kiss me, I told him longingly. I want you to kiss me. You don't want that, Dragomira, Cassius objected. Not really. I don't want you to kiss me like you kiss girls before they die. I want you to kiss me like it should be your last kiss, I said. When you sober up so you can remember, Cassius said. Now I objected, because then I won't want it anymore. It's a special offer. I can give you my word that when you sober up, I'll kiss you in such a way that you'll never forget it and wish I never stopped. He gave me a mischievous smile. Even if you don't want it yourself. I take your word for it. I grinned. Cassius wanted to take me back to the palace. However, before we climbed out of the fountain, I felt sick. I fell to my knees in the water. I leaned over the edge of the fountain. I threw up blood on the grass. Dragomira. Cassius fell toward me, concern in his voice. I'm not feeling well, Cassius, I told him. He gently caressed my cheeks. You're not drunk. They poisoned you, he remarked. There was blood on his hand. I went over my face. My fingers turned red with blood. My eyes are shedding bloody tears. I laughed. Someone really doesn't want me to be queen. Cassius lifted me into his arms. At the same time, I giggled with a sudden movement. Cassius held me tightly in his arms and I let him. I felt safe with him. "Shall we call a healer?" one of the guards asked. "No," Cassius replied. "He won't make it here in time." He carried me to his chambers. He placed my feet on solid ground, but my legs buckled and I fell to the floor. Cassius didn't catch me. He knelt down to me. I was coughing up blood. I put my head on his lap. Cassius brushed the wet hair from my face. His shirt was wet and bloody from me. "It's kind of funny that you won't be the one to kill me in the end." I laughed. I always assumed I'd end up with a knife in my back because I pissed someone off. "So you admit on your deathbed that you like to provoke?" Cassius smirked. "It's probably in my blood." I returned his smile. I coughed up more blood. I made his only white shirt even dirtier. It was already over for it. "I'm sorry, but I won't let you die just yet, Dragomira," Cassius said. "If you die, it will be by my hand." He bit his wrist and put it to my mouth. "Drink," he ordered me. I obeyed. I drank his blood. I felt its sweet taste on my tongue. However, there was also something special in it, something addictive. There was power in it. I felt tremendous strength from it running through my veins. I didn't have enough. I wanted more. I wanted all of it. I bit his wrist and wanted to take it. A bit greedy for blood. He had a satisfied look on his face. He tore his wrist away from my mouth. "I want more," I said. "Sometimes, other times," said Cassius. He bit his lower lip gracefully. I felt stronger with his blood in my veins. It awakened a hunger in me that I hadn't felt in years. I jumped on Cassius. He laughed. "You should tame yourself a little," he told me. "I want more," I said. "I'll give you all of it, but now you have to calm down, Dragomira." At that moment I felt it. It was the same as the first time during my transformation. The fire spread through my veins. It hurt. My body convulsed. My head was buzzing. My heart was pounding. I could feel every beat at my fingertips. I couldn't catch my breath. Cassius still held me in his arms and comforted me. "You'll be fine, Dragomira," he said. Reality moved away from me until finally, it was completely out of my reach. I woke up in Cassius' bed. I looked around Cassius' bedroom. I didn't understand how I ended up there. I was confused. My whole body ached. Cassius stood in the light by the opened window, watching the landscape beyond. He noticed I was awake. "You finally woke up," he said. "I was starting to worry you wouldn't make it to our wedding tomorrow. You slept for 2 days." "What happened?" I asked him, confused. "Don't you remember, Dragomira?" He answered with a question. Blurry, I replied. "I remember drinking. I remember we were in the fountain. I drank your blood." I remembered the taste of his blood on my tongue. I remember how good I felt. "Who changed my clothes?" I asked. "Maids," he replied. "I didn't think you'd be thrilled if it was me, Dragomira." "You guessed right," I said. How are you feeling, Dragomira? He asked me. The wine you drank was poisoned. Do you know who did it? I know, dear Dragomira, and I'm already preparing an exemplary punishment for them. Why do you keep saying my name like that? I didn't understand. I thought you like it, he smirked. What did I say at night? I asked him, startled. Many things. His eyes sparkled mischievously. He stepped away from the window and approached me, lying in his bed. He fixed his bewitching gaze on me. I felt so vulnerable in front of him. How is it possible that your blood saved me? I asked him the question that he was probably waiting for the whole time. My blood can do miracles, he replied. And saving your life isn't the only thing it's done to you. He gave me his hand. I didn't accept it. I was confused and hesitant. I felt that something was different with me, but I didn't know what. You don't have to worry, Dragomira. I won't hurt you, he said with a mischievous smile on his lips. Stop saying my name like that. I scolded him. Cassius grabbed my leg and pulled me to him. His massive body towered over me. He was leaning next to my head with one hand. The other gently went under my skirt. He gently ran his fingertips up my calf to my thigh. My heart raced involuntarily. I held my breath. What are you doing? I asked him. You begged me to kiss you last night, he replied. I caught his hand and flipped us over. Now I was on top. That's not going to happen, I said firmly. I was delirious. You're stronger, Cassius remarked. His words confused me. I jumped off the bed and backed away from him as if he burned me. Do you want to see everything you can do? He gave me a challenging look. Maybe some other time, I told him and turned to leave. Of course, Cassius used his powers to hold me back. He pulled back the curtain and cut off my path to the door with the light. I turned sharply away from the daylight, stepped on the skirt of my dress and fell to the ground. Cassius caught me. Afraid of a little light, he grinned. Let me go, I told him grumpily. Trust me, Dragomira. He didn't take his eyes off mine. I soaked in them. I obediently followed him. He wanted to bring me into the daylight, but I hesitated. Anyway, I did what he wanted, like I was in a trance. He controlled me. He took me out to the balcony. I saw the world bathed in sunlight, and it didn't burn me. I didn't burn, I was still alive. I looked at Cassius, asking for an explanation. Now you're like me. He gave it to me. You won't get burned by the sun. Nothing will kill you. How is this possible? I did not understand. My blood works wonders, Dragomira. You are reborn, he replied. So you can do it with everyone. Dear Dragomira, you must realize that this miracle gives us our power. However, when you reveal the secret of that miracle, we will lose that power. We would become hunting animals, because everyone would want to drink your blood. He nodded. I'm sure you understand why I want to keep it a secret, he said. I nodded. I guess I just need some time to myself, I said, to organize my thoughts. My words were as confused as I was. It was too much for me. My mind was overwhelmed. Wait, said Cassius. I gave you my word and I always keep it. What a word. Cassius grabbed my hand and pressed me to his chest. He kissed me. He was gentle and passionate at the same time. He claimed my breath. He was gently biting my lower lip. He pressed me against the sun-warmed wall. He pressed his body against mine. I could feel his touch through the thin fabric as if it were on bare skin. I'm ashamed of myself, but maybe I kind of wanted it. Maybe I wanted to know how his kisses taste, and that's why I returned them. I pulled him closer to me. I ran my fingers through his hair. I allowed his kisses to engulf me. I let myself be carried away by his ferocity. I wanted more kisses, more of him. Our hearts beat in unison. However, I finally came to my senses and pushed him away from me. I was shaking. I lost all words. Cassius looked at me with the same desire that burned inside me. I had no idea that I could ever desire a cruel king. I had to remind myself that he was the enemy. This is just a momentary weakness. He wants to kill me, and I want to kill him. I'll kill him. And now, he has given me an advantage to use. I am the one who has the only weapon in my hands that can kill us. I'll kill him. I have to. Either him or me. That moment between us totally freaked me out. I ran away. From him. From me. Cassius prepared a small surprise for the lords and ladies of his inner court that night, and he invited the whole palace to watch it. They tied them to wooden columns. Wood was stacked around them. It was obvious what he wanted to do with them. There was fear in their eyes. They tried to tear the ropes that bound them, but they were too tight. Anxiety reigned in the court. Such large executions were an exceptional event even under Cassius' rule. "What have we done this time, Your Majesty?" Lord Broderick asked him quite calmly. It was strange how calm he was, as if he would be used to Cassius trying to burn him every now and then. "A few days ago, someone tried to assassinate Dragomira," Cassius replied. "I'm sure one of you has a hand in it. Several of you. An attack on my betrothed is an attack on me, and therefore you will be punished." "But why don't you punish only the guilty ones?" said Lord Broderick. "I don't know the exact culprits, but I'm sure all of you do. I know nothing is hidden between you," he smirked wickedly. "That's why I'm going to make you an offer. You either tell me who did it or you all burn for hiding them." "And what if we don't know those who tried to kill her?" asked Lord Michael. "Are we going to be burned for your amusement? The guilty will let us burn with them." "I'm feeling generous today, so I'll make a bargain with the guilty ones as well," Cassius said, acknowledging Lord Michael's words. "If you voluntarily confess to your crimes, I will leave you free. However, you will be banished from Tosca, and if you ever show up here again, I won't promise you your life anymore." "How do we know that you'll keep your word?" Lady Brenna asked him. Cassius approached her. He looked at her with disgust. "I have no doubt that it was you, Lady Brenna," he said. "But I always keep my word. I confess I tried to poison your betrothed," Lady Brenna said without hesitation, taking advantage of his offers. "She deserves to die, and my only regret is that I didn't manage to kill her. You may not see it, but she is worse than you, even if she's playing a saint." "Who helped you?" Cassius demanded an answer. He didn't want to let anyone get away with it. Lady Brenna betrayed everyone who was helping her with the plan to kill me. It turned out that of the 53 members of Cassius' inner court, only an eighth was innocent. Even some members of the royal guard were involved. That's how they managed to get into my chambers. They let them go. Cassius had the innocents released and the traitors bound in their place. He turned to me. He found me hiding in the crowd with a glance. He held a torch in his hand. Its light broke the thick darkness of the night. In his face were flickering shadows. I stepped out from the safety of the crowd. I approached him. I took the torch from his hands. I snatched it from his hands. "Liar," Lady Brenna said as I walked towards her with fire in hand. "You said you'd let me go if I confessed." "His Majesty left you with your life, Lady Brenna." "But I didn't," I said coldly, throwing the torch onto a pile of wood. The wood burst into flames. The fire spread quickly. It swallowed the wood. It climbed higher and higher. The tongues of fire tasted their victims before devouring them whole. Their screams echoed wide and far. The smell of rotting meat wafted through the air. The courtiers looked on with horror at the deadly spectacle. The fire, like a voracious raven, reached for the night skis and tried to devour it as well. I watched it with fascinated pleasure. Alexei approached me. "I've never seen you like this before," he said quietly. "Like what?" I asked him. "So cold," he replied, "and cruel." "You yourself know very well that I can be the same as the king, maybe even worse," I said. "You witnessed it." "You were hurt," said Alexei. "We both know it's in me," I countered. "What are you talking about?" Cassius asked us. My brother looked down and stepped back. He left me alone with the king. Cassius gave me a look. "So is it true, what Lady Brenna said?" He didn't give up on getting his answer. "Are you worse than me, Dragomira? Remember when you once sent the royal guards to hunt down a vampire who was leaving the corpses of hunters in the streets? At least the remains of them." Cassius nodded. That vampire provoked the hunters and attracted their attention. But he was never caught and disappeared of his own accord. I was quite creative in the condition I left those hunters' bodies in. I grinned. Cassius looked at me in astonishment. A smile graced his lips. "So it was you we were hunting." "You hunted me along with the guards." I wondered. "Yes," he said. "How did you manage to escape us?" he asked. "Alexei found me first and helped me," I replied. "Your brother is truly loyal to you," Cassius remarked. "He's my brother. Now that you're queen, his allegiance will finally be fully to the crown." The morning came, and with it came the big day. They dressed me in a gorgeous white dress with a long train. The lace was stitched with silver threads. They were decorated with pearls. The skirt of the dress was so wide that I was afraid that I would not fit through the door. My maid braided my hair into fancy braids. She stuck needles with pearls into them. I looked at myself in the mirror. I liked what I saw. Well, maybe I hated the look a little bit. My last wedding did not go well. "You can always do miracles with me, Anastasia," I told my maid. "It wouldn't have been possible without your natural beauty, Your Highness," she said. "I only picked up what nature gave you." Do you think His Majesty will like me? I asked. He will be charmed by you, she replied. My chambers looked like a brand new place in the daylight. I couldn't imagine myself in a world immersed in sunlight. I shut open all the windows and watched the world beyond them. It's been years since I last saw turquoise skis. It's been so long since I felt the warmth of the sun on my face and it didn't burn me. I almost forgot what it was like. Alexei entered my chambers but immediately retreated back into the corridor. I quickly drew the curtains. He entered. He looked at me confused. Did you just go out in the sun and not burn, or am I just delusional? He said. It's a wedding gift from the king, I said. So now you can walk in the sun? He asked, shocked. Yes, I confirmed. How is that possible? He didn't understand. How did he do that? I can't say that, I replied. Cassius wants to keep it a secret, and I agree. Since when do you listen to the king's orders, sister? Alexei wondered. I thought you always did the exact opposite. Or did he threaten you again? He became serious. No, I said. He saved my life this time, but I can't tell anyone how he did it. I approached my bed and pulled out a magic dagger from under the pillow. It felt strange to hold it in my hand, now that it was the only weapon that could kill me too. But before that, anyone could have killed me. It's only one day and I still have a lot to get used to. Alexei looked at me worriedly. You want to kill the king in front of everyone? No, I said. I'll wait until we're alone. You still haven't changed your mind. He asked me. He did save your life, and the massacre in the courtyard was because of you. One good thing doesn't erase all the bad ones. Brother, I replied. No, but you can forgive, Alexei countered. So this is how you put up with him all these years. Have you forgiven him? You've done bad things too, Dragomira, and I've forgiven you. Truth, he forgave me more than I deserved. I joined the royal guard despite knowing what kind of king he is. I swore to protect him and trust his decisions. And now I will protect you as my queen. You did that even without me being queen. I grinned. Because we are family, sister. The family helps and protects itself. Alexei took the dagger from my hand. I let him take it from me. You don't need it for the ceremony, he told me. Be careful. Don't let it get lost and let no one find out that you have it, I told him. Don't worry, sister, I'll take care of it. He gave me a nice smile. The carriage stopped in front of the cathedral, standing at the edge of the forest. Its ornate turrets of gray stone reached to the heavens. In front of the entrance stood crowds of people who had come to see an event that no one had ever experienced in Tosca. The royal wedding caused a great stir. Cassius made sure that it was open to the general public. At times, I felt it was just a grand show to let his kingdom know that the king still exists, that he is not just a character from fairy tales. Nervous, Alex asked me. My head is screaming for me to run, I replied. Except that's not an option. And you kind of want to stay. Otherwise you wouldn't be here, remarked Alexei. Nonsense, I retorted. I believe you, he grinned. I don't even like Cassius, I said forcefully. I didn't say that. You did. Got me. I gently hit him on the shoulder, maybe a little stronger than I wanted. You are strong, he said. And that's not all. I gave him a mischievous smile. We entered the vestibule of the cathedral. My father was waiting for me there. Alexei handed me into his hands. You look beautiful, Dragomira, he told me. Father was not fooled. He saw that I had to force myself to smile. Different feelings mixed in me and absorbed me. It was a wild whirlpool that pulled me into its depths. They confuse me. If you wish, we can leave, my father told me. We both know I'm not going to run away from this. I smiled sincerely this time. I'm just a little nervous. Don't let the king control you, Dragomira. You will be the queen, so rule. Don't let yourself be ruled. Father led me to the altar. The cathedral was full of lords and ladies and commoners from far and wide. The colored rays of the setting sun penetrated through the stained glass windows. Cassius was standing at the altar, looking at me across the long aisle. He had a stony expression on his face. I had no idea what he could be thinking. I wondered if he was as nervous as I was. He was dressed in a white suit decorated with gold ornaments. A golden crown sat on his head. It glistened beautifully in the fragments of light. The guests watched me carefully. Every step I took was uncertain, but I feigned confidence. We walked down the aisle. Cassius gave me a sweet smile. I didn't know if he was sincere or if he just wanted to calm me down because he always saw inside me, but I tried to hide the truth no matter what. He offered me his hand, which I warmly accepted. My father let me go and left me in the king's hands. Calm down, Cassius whispered to me, feeling me shiver. Aren't you nervous? Escaped my lips. I'm used to being the center of attention, he replied. You know what I mean, I told him. It's your second wedding, dear Dragomira. He grinned. I'd expect you'd be used to it by now. I rolled my eyes at him, fake offended. Cassius chuckled lightly to himself. The whispers in the cathedral stopped. There was an almost supernatural silence. You could hear an orchestra of hearts beating in unison. The priest's voice echoed. It drifted through the wide space and disappeared into the silence. He tied our hands with a white cloth. He was talking, but I couldn't concentrate. My full attention belonged to Cassius, who fixed his bewitching eyes on me. I lost myself in them. I take you to be my wife, Dragomira Ivanovna, Cassius spoke. I take you to be my husband, King Cassius. I spoke immediately. From now until forever, said Cassius. From now until forever, I said. Till death do us part. Cassius kissed me to seal our bond. It wasn't like the first time he kissed me. This kiss was gentle and moderate, careful. It wasn't like before when he greedily claimed my breath, as if he wants to stay away from me. Cassius took the golden crown from his head and put it on me. I hereby crown you my queen, Dragomira. Those words made me smile involuntarily. My queen, it warmed my heart. And the queen of all Tosca, he said. We turned to the watching crowd. Cassius took my palm in his. He pushed me a step forward. I present to you your Queen Dragomira Ivanovna, he exclaimed. Long live Queen Dragomira, the people shouted back. We celebrated in the streets of Kalig together with the people. Royal guards stood at every corner to ensure the safety of someone who could not die. Only a few ladies and lords joined in the celebrations. They were too proud. It was below their level to celebrate with ordinary people. Cassius grabbed me by the waist and we danced. We jumped to the rhythm of joyful music. We were laughing. Between Cassius and me was unusually no tension. For a single night, we forgot our differences. We seemed to be happy. Him and me, together, king and queen. Your Majesty, I'm asking you to release me from my duties for the rest of the night so that I can dance with my sister, Alexei said to Cassius. You are relieved of your duties. Your sister will appreciate your company, said Cassius. I danced with my brother. In the holster behind his belt, instead of his ornate dagger, he had a dagger he had taken from me. I kept my eye on it. You smile suspiciously with him, he remarked. Someone else might think you're taking a liking to the king. Just because I want to get rid of him doesn't mean I can't have fun, I said. But are you really having fun with him, or are you just faking it? He asked me. Does it matter? I answered with a question. Yes, because you are fighting with yourself, said Alexei. I'm not fighting, I objected. I just realized that a few good times won't erase the bad ones. You can't have only sunshine in your life, Dragomira. Sometimes it will also rain. However, he is not rain. He is a raging storm. And you're a hurricane. I looked at him in shock. I pretended to be offended. What are you trying to say, brother? I said. That you are both the same, Dragomira, he replied. He wants to kill you and you him. I was silent. I thought about other words. Before we go back to the palace, I want that dagger back, I finally said. Despite the fact that the sun didn't bother us, we returned to the palace before dawn. Cassius escorted me to my chambers. He had his hand on my back. He slid down it lower and lower. His touch gave me goosebumps, in a good way. I don't know if I wanted to feel that physical attraction to him. I don't know if it was good. Ever since I drank his blood, I couldn't get him out of my head. I liked his touch. I liked how he kissed me. I loved the taste of his blood on my tongue. Maybe Alexei was right. I'm fighting with myself, but every road leads to my damnation. I felt a cold blade on my thigh that wanted to spill blood. Mine. His. I don't know what kind of spell controlled it, but I felt its power and bloodlust. It forced me to hold it firmly in my palm and stab in a living. It wanted life. It tapped into my anger and innermost fear. It sent chills down my spine. I leaned my back against the carved bedpost. I looked at Cassius. He fixed his bewitching gaze on me. He kept his distance. What happens now? I asked him. Cassius didn't answer. He walked towards me. We were standing close to each other, but he left space between us. He had been invading my personal space all along, and now he was keeping his distance from me. He seemed so cold. I was slightly worried that he might know about the dagger, as if he knew what I was about to do. We are alone here. I'm your wife now, I said, so what will happen? Will you take me or just watch? The corner of his mouth, involuntarily lifted into a fleeting smile. He gently brushed a loose strand of hair behind my ear. "No," he said. "Maybe some other time when you will want." "I want it," I said. "I want you." I grabbed him by the hem of his jacket and pulled him close to me. I let the space between us completely disappear. I kissed him. He returned the kiss at first, but then pulled away from me. Our lips parted. We were still standing close to each other, but we were not kissing. "Such a sweet liar," Cassius said. "How can I prove to you that I just like everything bad?" I told him. "That's not exactly a compliment," he smirked. "You're not very good either," I remarked. "Have you forgotten that you hate me?" "Not at all. I just decided I wanted to have fun today." "Apparently the homemade alcohol that people drink is too strong for you. Sleep well, Dragomira." "Are you provoking?" "You're kind of tame today," Cassius said, giving me a quick kiss. "I prefer it when you resist." "I prefer it when you're not gallant," I said. "Asleep," Cassius said. "Are you planning to just leave me here alone?" I said. "I don't want to be alone, Cassius." "Are you suggesting I keep you company in bed, Dragomira?" He said my name again as gracefully as I adore it. He gave me a questioning look. I nodded. "I think it's better if we sleep separately tonight. It could still go wrong," he replied, turning to leave. "Don't you want your crown back?" I called after him. I still had his crown on my head, which he put on me in the cathedral. He looked over his shoulder at me. "It fits you better," he said. "I'll come back for it, though." I stayed there staring into the void he left behind. I slid to the ground. The large skirt of the dress spread out around me. I was shaking. My heart was beating fast. I couldn't catch my breath. The magic blade on my thigh almost burned me with disappointment that it didn't get what it wanted. It still wanted blood, wanted life. And the game of life and death continues. "How come the king is still alive?" Alexei smirked. "Have you changed your mind?" "No, it's just that my plan didn't work," I said, irritated. "What happened?" he asked me. "He doesn't trust me," I replied. "I'm afraid he knows something." "If he knew something, he would have killed you already," remarked Alexei. "He can't because I have the only dagger that can do it," I said. "Are you immortal like him?" Alexei wondered. "I'm just like him now," I replied with a wicked smile. "I have everything everyone wants, power like King Cassius, a royal crown, and yet somehow it's still not enough for me. There is still a void in me that probably nothing in the world can fill. Like there's something wrong with me." "So now you have an advantage that you can use against him," he stated. "Don't you think that if he wanted to kill you, he wouldn't make you like him?" "Cassius does many things that no one understands," I said. "Don't let him pull you into that black hole again, Dragomira. He was worried about me. You want to kill him way too much." I was in the courtyard shooting at a target. I was excellent with a sword, but lousy with a bow and arrow. I shot one arrow after another and could not hit the target. Sometimes I managed to at least hit the edge of the target. An arrow flew from a distance and hit straight in the middle. I turned to the direction from which the arrow came from. Cassius walked towards me, bow in hand. He didn't have a shirt on. He was dressed only in a doublet embroidered with gold. The sun's rays illuminated the toned muscles of his body. An unruly strand of hair fell into his bewitching eyes. I have to admit, he looked more than good. However, I immediately pushed those thoughts out of my mind. I couldn't think of him like that. It was unacceptable. He is my enemy. Don't show off, I told him. How come you're so bad with a bow? Cassius wondered. I thought you were unbeatable in battle. In a sword fight, I rolled my eyes. You have bad technique, Cassius told me. Then instruct me, your majesty. I bowed to him. Are you mad at me because of our wedding night? He looked at me inquisitively. Not at all, I replied. I'm rather glad that you prevented me from making that mistake. I was drunk. Am I a mistake, Dragomira? He took a step closer to me. I took another step towards him. I hate you, I said. You're not so sure about that, Cassius said with a mischievous smile and took another tiny step toward me. He closed the gap between us. You don't know anything about me, I retorted. You don't know me at all. Maybe he bit his bottom lip nonchalantly. But I know you dream about kissing me. You shiver when I say your name, Dragomira. I thought I saw hallucinations when I was poisoned, but apparently it happens to you in a normal state. I returned a mischievous smile. What if I convince you? I laughed. That your majesty would fall in love with a girl he wants to kill. Cassius smiled wickedly. So you're upset about my terms. It's just a game after all. You like to have fun, don't you? I said, though I haven't seen you in the company of your maids for a long time. It's more fun to torture you, dear Dragomira. I backed away from him. I stretched the bowstring and aimed the arrow at him. I stared at him. What will you do, Dragomira? Are you going to try to kill me? Again. I can try. You know, a simple arrow in the heart won't kill me. It will be all the more fun. I can kill you over and over and over. He took a step towards me. The arrowhead rested against his chest. I'll make it easier for you because you wouldn't have hit anyway. His eyes sparkled with a challenge. And I accepted it. I released the string. I released the arrow. It shot him through the chest. He staggered backward. A trickle of blood trickled down his chin from the corner of his mouth. He pierced me with a look. He tore the arrow from his chest and tossed it to the ground. Blood flowed down his toned body. The wound healed quickly. He took a step towards me and I took a step back. You greatly underestimate me, Cassius, I said. What if I kill you now, but forever? His lips curled into a wicked smirk. I heard you lost your dagger, I remarked. They allegedly stole it from you. You can't kill me without it. How do you know that? Cassius was horrified. Rumors are spreading, I replied. What rumors? Now I had to be careful with my words. Just to show him that I have the upper hand over him, at least once in my life, and not drove myself into a trap. He must not find out that I have the dagger, but he would know the lie. Supposedly your son, who wants your throne, has it. Our throne, he corrected me. You keep forgetting that you wear my crown on your head. How lovely, I have to admit I like wearing it even if it's a bit big. I grinned. Have you found your son yet? Not. He still remains hidden from me, he replied. But how do you know all that? You finally gave me the freedom to leave the palace. I went among the people and was interested. I told him. And why are you interested in my son? He wants your head, and I'm your wife now. The queen. He'll probably want mine right after yours. And did you find out anything else? He wondered. He's probably hiding among the hunters. That's why they have the courage to go after you, I replied. Now they have a weapon against you. Cassius grabbed my hand and pressed my back to his chest. He rested his head on my shoulder. So that's why you're so rude all of a sudden, he whispered in my ear. You think I have no power over you now? I thought you like me like this, Your Majesty, I said. If you want to play like that, you need to learn how to shoot a bow, said Cassius. He took the crown he had given me and put it on his head. I liked wearing it. I suddenly felt naked without it. However, it suited him better. He looked so classy and superior with it. I would bow to him too. And will you teach me? I challenged him. I stretched the bowstring and aimed the arrow at a distant target. I felt the warmth of Cassius' body on my back, his breath on my neck. Put your hand a little lower, Cassius told me, pushing my elbow to lower it. I obeyed, but as he suddenly released me, I involuntarily picked it up again. Lower, Cassius repeated. This time, he kept his hand on my elbow. Aim. Imagine my head on the target, he said. I laughed. Take your time. I took a deep breath. I exhaled. I repeated it. I released the arrow and it hit. It wasn't the center, but at least I hit the target. I was happy. I turned to Cassius, wanted to hug him, but an arrow pierced my stomach. I felt a sharp pain. I ripped the arrow from my body. My fingers turned red with my own blood. We were both covered in blood now. It was unusual for the wound to heal immediately, but it was an advantage, also a curse. His games could now go much further than before. He can do whatever he wants with me, and I will survive. I gave Cassius a murderous look. Again, he brought back to life the anger I felt to him. Maybe this will teach you not to shoot arrows at me next time, he said. What weapons are allowed in our war? I grinned. Do you really want to be at war with me, Dragomira? Are you afraid of losing, Cassius? I never lose. Baal brought me back to the tomb. There was not the slightest problem with the guards. Balmor had them on his side, at least the ones from the day watch. Without a word, we passed through those silent corridors lined with the dead. Balmor was already waiting for us in the main chamber of the tomb, where the last king and queen rested forever. Finally, he said, I've been waiting forever. I had to wait for the changing of the guards, Baal said. Alexei was on guard, and he doesn't really like me. He thinks you have a bad influence on me, I said. Alexei doesn't like anyone who is too close to me, but he liked you the least of all. He's too protective of you, Dragomira, Baal said. He has taken a liking to Cassius, I remarked. And you, do you like him? Baal wondered. We're officially at war, I replied. How did this happen? He did not understand. It's getting worse between you two every day. I'd rather wonder why the king isn't dead yet, Balmor said irritably. If you haven't noticed, the king and I don't exactly have a friendly relationship, I said in the same tone. He let you wear his crown, Balmor remarked. Cassius does a lot of things, and they don't mean he likes me, I said. He used that crown to show who she belonged to, said Bale. He's possessive. However, it has been going on for too long. She had enough chances to kill him, Bale said. It took you forever to get close to him, and you were still forced to ask for my help, I retorted. You had the perfect opportunity to kill him on your wedding night. He didn't stay with me for the night. He was drinking with me the whole time, Bale said. He got pretty drunk that night. Did he say something about me? I asked. Only that he's losing his mind because of you, he replied. I had to smile at the idea. It was an interesting realization that Cassius was losing his sanity because of me. I thought he was the only one depriving me of my sanity. I think it's in both of our best interests that the king dies as soon as possible, Balmor said. Cassius will die on my terms, I said. He is mistrustful. I have to earn my way to him. Just be nice, Bale suggested. Cassius is no fool. He would never believe it. I objected. I would lose to him in a direct fight, so I have to surprise him. And for that, I need to win his trust. How is it possible that you walk in the sun? Balmor wondered. Wedding gift, I replied with a mischievous smile on my lips. How did he do it? I am the queen. I don't have to answer these questions for you. Actually, none, I said and left. Cassius and I headed north. It was to be a grand tour around the entire kingdom. He wanted to show Tosca their king and queen, so that no one ever doubts his existence again. He is the king, and no one will take it from him. Not without a fight, heads cut off and blood. Cassius and I traveled separately. While I was sitting in the carriage, he was on horseback among his soldiers. I looked out at the changing landscape. I looked at the crowd of soldiers. The sun's rays wound across the country. Birds flew high in the turquoise skies. I was bored. The journey was long, and my only company was silence. My mind was spinning plans and intrigues that even I didn't like anymore. Stop the carriage, I ordered. The carriage immediately stopped. The entire procession stopped with it. I got out. Cassius came to me. What's going on? He asked. Is everything all right? I want to ride a horse, I said. Cassius did not object. Surprisingly, he gave me his hand to get on the horse with him. I refused. I can drive myself. We don't have an extra horse, so you'll have to settle for coming with me, he said. Or you can go back to the carriage. I accepted his hand and got on the horse behind him. I grabbed him around the waist. It was just a fleeting touch. I didn't want to put too much pressure on him. You don't have to keep that distance from me, Cassius said. I won't think anything if you hold me tight. You're always thinking something, I said. I moved closer to him and held him tightly. I rested my head on his back. Cassius gave a sharp pull on the bridle and his horse reared. I held him even tighter. "What the hell are you doing?" I said. "I'm testing how tight you hold," he said. I could hear in his voice that he was smiling. "Pretty tight," I said. "You are special, Dragomira. Either you keep your distance from me, or you press closer to me as if you don't hate me," said Cassius. "You don't know anything in between." "If I could live on the edge of what I feel, then I would be ordinary like anyone else," I said. "You wouldn't like it either." "Do you think I like you?" Cassius asked me a question. "I'm sure of it," I replied. "You must be thinking too much as well, Dragomira," he said. "I expect nothing more and nothing less from you." We arrived in the city of Calon, the third stop on our way. I remember Calon. Father once owned a mansion there before it was burned down during the invasion of troops. Calon was a beautiful city set on a mountain, full of music, joy, and laughter. People danced in the streets. Every day was something to celebrate. The most beautiful stars were found in the sky there. Millions of glittering dots decorated the ebony heavens. Even during the hot summer, there was a pleasant breeze. In the spring, the meadows were colored in colors of rainbow. And in the fall, the forest took on colors as if it were on fire. Cassius traveled with me in the carriage this time. We sat across from each other. We were silent. I closed my eyes and plunged into my dreams. Pitching the carriage over the bumpy road made me sleepy. My head fell and the crown fell from it. Cassius laughed. "You can lean on me if you want to sleep," he said. He picked up the crown from the ground and placed it back on my head. "That won't be necessary," I said. "I like to keep my distance." "You didn't complain in bed when you were close to me. I'd even say you were smiling when you slept on my chest." He grinned. I gently kicked him. I couldn't help but smile. I could have killed him during those days, but for some strange reason I didn't. It wasn't the right opportunity. His time has not yet come. His people, his kingdom, need him. First, he has to fix everything he messed up and then he can die. And maybe I was just lying to myself. I think I'm in very big trouble. I wouldn't say no to my own bed, I said. "You are my wife, Dragomira. There is no need for us to sleep apart," said Cassius. "And it would look bad on your game," I remarked. "How long are you going to hate me?" He raised an eyebrow in question. "Just because you saved my life doesn't mean I'm going to like you back," I said, a little more irritated than I wanted to. However, I have already said those words. We finally arrived in town. The procession stopped. Screams could be heard from outside. Excited screams. "The people are already looking forward to seeing their queen," Cassius said. "The people are already looking forward to finally meeting their king after years of ignorance," I said. "Most of all people want to see their queen," Cassius countered. "I remember the times when my father walked among people. All the attention always belonged to my mother. While he was destroying Tosca, she was correcting his mistakes. She alleviated the suffering of the people my father threw them into." "Is that why you decided to make me queen?" I asked him. "Tosca is falling apart, and people need hope that I can't give them," he replied. "But you could have crowned anyone," I remarked. "For example, Lady Brenna." There is no one like you, Dragomira. I knew you'd make a good queen the moment you stood up for that friend of yours. You are close to people. You mix compassion with cruelty, and that makes you even better. My mother would like you." I smiled widely. I couldn't bring myself to stop smiling. "Why are you smiling like that?" Cassius looked at me confused. "You said I am likable, even if most people hate me. We have that in common. And it's the first time you've talked about your family, and I feel like I'm the only one who's heard it yet. You know many things about me that no one knows. Dear Dragomira." He offered me his hand, and I warmly accepted it. We went out among the people. I did not expect what I saw. Calon was no longer the way I remembered it. The city has not yet had time to be repaired. You could still see the burnt ruins. There was sadness, but when you looked at the faces of the people, they were adorned with broad smiles. They squealed happily. They were happy to see us. The royal guards didn't have to cut our way through the crowd. Even though they were excited about our visit, Cassius' reputation was not forgotten. They themselves avoided us. I grabbed Cassius' hand. Our fingers intertwined. He looked at me inquisitively. "What are you doing?" "I'm showing them. They don't have to be afraid of you," I said. We arrived at Lord Calon's mansion. He was the protector of the city of Calon. "It is my pleasure to welcome you to Calon. Your Majesty, King Cassius," he bowed before him. "Don't you recognize your queen?" Cassius told him authoritatively. The tone of his voice would have chilled many, but Lord Calon took it lightly. "We have known each other for a long time, Your Majesty," he said. "I know what's going on, so I'm wondering if she's just your attempt to hold on to a throne that's in jeopardy. And my answer is that if you talk about her like that again, Lord Calon, I will cut out your tongue. Now show your respects to your queen," Cassius said ominously. "As you wish, Your Majesty." Lord Calon walked up to me and nonchalantly kissed the back of my hand. "Welcome back to Calon, Queen Dragomira," he said. "It's been years since I saw Calon the last time. I'm glad to be back," I said. "Much has changed since then, as you may have noticed. The troops from the north have completely destroyed Calon, but we are not losing hope," said Lord Calon. "We have come to provide assistance," said Cassius. "Besides the troops on the borders, which are a matter of course, we offer food and anything else you will need through the winter." "That is generous of you, Your Majesty," said Lord Calon. "People will definitely appreciate it." In Calon, they held a small celebration in our honor, in which the whole town participated. People danced around a tree in the middle of the square. Autumn colored its leaves in shades of yellow, orange, and red. The light filtering through the tangle of branches cast flickering shadows. Colorful flags with the symbol of the royal golden rose hung all around. Joyful laughter and happy music were carried through the air. "Dance with me, Cassius," I challenged him. He stood aloof and watched his surroundings like the scary king they talked about. "I think I'll skip this dance," Cassius replied. I cast sad eyes at him. He refused anyway. I turned to Lord Calon and smiled at him. "I hope you dance, Lord Calon," I said. "Of course, Your Majesty. replied Lord Callan, stepping into the dance with me. The celebration continued until late at night. Colorful lanterns illuminated the dense darkness. They cast light in all the colors of the rainbow. Suddenly, someone pulled me out of the crowd and pulled me into the shadows. He covered my mouth so I couldn't scream. Of course, it was Cassius trying to be mysterious. He pushed me against the wall. We stood there for a while, body to body, out of sight of prying eyes. Then he put his hand down from my mouth. "Are you trying to scare me, Cassius?" I asked him with a smile. "Worse," he grinned. "I'm taking you on a little trip." I stared at him in disbelief. "That's really creepy and suspicious," I said. Cassius smirked. "You have no idea." He led me to the stables. His horse was saddled. I looked around, but I didn't see anyone. No people, no guards. "Where are the guards?" I asked him. "Nowhere," he replied. "Only you and I are going. We don't need company." "Are you planning to kill me and bury me in the forest?" I gave him a disturbing smile. "Maybe," he grinned. "I could definitely try." He motioned for me to get on his horse. I obeyed. He got on behind me. I don't even know where he got the scarf. He wanted to blindfold me. I pushed his hands away. "No," I refused firmly. "Trust me, Dragomira," Cassius said with tenderness in his voice. "Trust you," I laughed. "It's a surprise, Dragomira, and I'd love if it stayed a surprise until the very end," said Cassius. "So either you do what I want willingly, or I'll tie your hands behind your back and you'll have no choice." "I couldn't ask for a more gallant man, dear Cassius," I said sarcastically, allowing him to blindfold me. I was left in complete darkness. I only felt Cassius's closeness. "I am the best man you could ever want, Dragomira," he whispered in my ear. He kissed my neck and I shivered from the touch. "Even if you say you hate me, you can't deny that you want me. When I tried to tell you when I was drunk, you didn't believe me," I told him. "I want you sober, Dragomira. Once I take you, I want you to be fully conscious," he said. "We're finally leaving because I'm too curious where you want to take me and also impatient," I said. However, the truth is that I just didn't want to succumb to what I felt around him. Cassius sighed. He spurred his horse into a trot and we set off to an unknown destination. We drove across the country. The wind was blowing in my hair. The music from the square became just a sound fading into the distance. I leaned my back against his chest. I felt his every movement. Cassius grabbed me around the waist and pulled me to him even tighter. We stopped. We dismounted. Cassius helped me dismount. "Can I take this scarf off now?" I asked him. "Not yet," he replied. We walked through the countryside. Branches and fallen leaves cracked under our feet. We must have been in the woods. Cassius held me and guided me. I stumbled on uneven ground. If he didn't hold me, I would be lying in the dirt by now. "I really can't untie my eyes," I said to Cassius. "It's pretty bad walking like this when I can't see under my feet." Cassius didn't answer. He just grabbed me and lifted me in his arms. I giggled quietly. "You shouldn't be so gallant. Otherwise, I might misinterpret it, dear Cassius." I laughed. You shouldn't be smiling like that, or I might think you like it, Cassius said. That you like me. I wouldn't completely deny that, I said. Cassius fell silent. Even though I couldn't see his face, I could feel that my words surprised him. His heart skipped a beat. He held his breath. He put me on the ground. My feet touched solid ground. He gently took the scarf off my eyes. He looked directly at me. I lost myself in his dark eyes. That's when I noticed the faint blue glow that surrounded us. I looked around in amazement. I was spinning on my own axis. The beauty took my breath away. It was exactly as I remembered. Luminous dandelions glowed at night. It was my private place. Used to. There was a small clearing in the middle of the forest. Surrounded by a dense forest, it was protected from the outside world. Dandelions grew here, and when they bloomed, they shone with a weak blue light in the night. It was beautiful. I adored that place. I spent a lot of time there when we were in Calon. I just lay in the grass and watched the starry sky. And when I turned my eyes to the ground, the dandelion field was able to compete with that beauty. How do you know about this place? I asked him. Your brother told me about it, Cassius replied. I thought you'd like it here. So you and Alexei are now on the same side against me. I raised an eyebrow in question. It's just that even your brother understands that you're better with me, Dragomira. He grabbed my hand and pressed me to his chest. He kissed me. I returned the kiss. I wanted to feel the touch of his lips on mine. His kisses tasted so amazing. I didn't have enough. We're on the same side, Dragomira. He filtered through the kisses. It's not that simple, I said. Why shouldn't it be? Said Cassius. How can you kiss me and plan my death? Says the girl who draws death to her. You knew the hunter would kill you if he knew what you were, and it still didn't stop you from falling for him. You expect me to kill you, and you still kiss me back. I'm self-destructive, I said and kissed him again. The wind blew. It whistled in the treetops. Dandelion seeds rose into the air. Like strange fireflies, they soared to the heavens, longing to become stars. We watched with amazement the spectacle created by nature. We lay in the grass and watched the stars. The breeze whispered its secrets. I rested my head on Cassius' chest and listened to his heartbeat. I ran my finger along the hem of his pants. You're provoking, Cassius said. This is far from provocation, I said with a mischievous smile. I lifted his shirt and kissed him on the six-pack. I moved the kisses higher and higher. I felt Cassius shiver. It was gratifying to evoke it in him. However, I stopped there and sat down. I sat astride him. Cassius sighed deeply. He looked at me with ferocity in his eyes. This is definitely a provocation, he said. Has anyone never done that to you? I grinned. No one has ever dared not to give me what I want, he replied. But you do it all the time. And you like it. Cassius plucked a dandelion and put it in my hair. He played with a strand of my hair. Did you know that supposedly if you make a wish and blow on one of these dandelions in one breath, it will come true? Have you ever made a wish? He asked me. No, I replied. I never knew what I really wanted. I was also worried about the price I would have to pay for my wish. I was afraid of permanent consequences that I might regret. "Then what would you like?" he wondered. I once wished to become a queen, but I was still young and stupid. I answered. "You did that even without magic," said Cassius. "What would you like?" I asked him. "Once to change the past. Today, nothing, because otherwise this moment wouldn't exist," he replied. "Would you like to change what happened to your family?" Cassius looked at me in shock. "Baal mentioned that you slaughtered your entire family after transformation." Cassius nodded. "I'm sure Baal told you what a monster I was and how I murdered my siblings in cold blood. How lucky he was to survive. It was just a mistake." "I remember my transformation," I said. "Learning to control that hunger for blood is hard." "Until recently, you thought I am a monster." "We're all monsters." Cassius' hand wandered under my skirt. He glided up my thigh with a fleeting touch. I liked his touch on my bare skin. "How did you become the first vampire?" I asked him. Cassius hesitated for a moment but finally spoke, and I listened carefully. "It's been a long time ago. I was the firstborn and rightful heir to the throne. However, my father decided that I was too wicked, and so he left the throne to my second-born sister. She always wanted the crown and was willing to do anything for it. That's why she decided to destroy me. She succeeded. The father expressed himself by saying that the monster would not rule his kingdom. He banished me. My mother was against it, but her word against the king's word carried no weight. I swore revenge on my father and sister. I swore by the gods that I would pay any price for help to defeat them. They listened to me. As payment, the dark goddess took my life, and now I rule forever." "What about black pearls?" I wondered. "Are they some sacrifice to the gods?" "No," he replied, turning the pearl hanging on my neck in his fingers. "I just like them. Apparently, in the end, I'm the monster, as my father used to say. They were my mother's favorite. So that's why he gave me back the pearl that night. It was the only thing left from our mothers." I rested my head on his chest. I hid my face. "I'm sorry, Cassius," I said guiltily. Cassius lifted my face to his. He gently grabbed my chin and forced me to look at him. "What are you apologizing for, Dragomira?" He did not understand. "I called you a monster, just like your father did. I said you are a bad king. I always told myself that I would never be like him, but at the same time, I became much worse. You woke me up, Dragomira." He ran his thumb along my lower lip. I leaned towards him and kissed him. I claimed his kisses. I wanted to be the only one who would ever feel them again. Cassius turned us around. Now he was on top. He was kissing me. He claimed my breath, my lips, my body. He was kissing my neck. "Dragomira," he whispered softly into my skin. I tore off his coat and shirt. I revealed his toned body. His greedy hands slid over my body. They wandered under the skirt of my dress. I felt him inside me. I moved my hips in one rhythm with him. A pleasurable moan escaped my lips. "Dragomira." "Cassius, my Cassius." I wanted his kisses. An electrifying energy flowed through my entire body. My heart was pounding. I was breathing raggedly. Cassius bit my bottom lip. I felt the taste of my own blood on my tongue. He licked the blood off my lip. I allowed him to drink my blood, and I drank his. He allowed me to. Cassius was helping me tie my dress. He did it slowly. He took his time. He was kissing my neck. I couldn't stop smiling. Something has changed between us. The tension broke, and we were free. As if we were two ravens locked in a small cage, and now we were allowed to spread our wings freely. We were not alone. We had each other in our suffering and happiness. My vision fell on the line of the forest soaking into the night sky. A bright, red glow emanated from behind it. "Cassius," I said with concern in my voice. Cassius noticed the change and gave me his full attention. He stood by my side. I pointed to the flames in the distance. "The city is on fire." "We have to go," he said, hastily adjusting his clothes. He strapped his sword around his waist. We mounted our horse and returned to the burning city. It was in chaos. Soldiers fought foreign soldiers. According to the uniforms, it was an army of hunters. My nature told me to rush into battle, but Cassius stopped me. "Stay away, Dragomira," he ordered me. "I can fight," I argued. "I don't doubt it, but I want you to stay safe," he said. "You are my queen, and it is my duty to protect you." "Would it hurt your pride if I could take care of myself?" I shot him a questioning look. "There's no doubt that you don't need me to survive, Dragomira. But someone has to help people get away, and they look up to you." I did as Cassius said. I tried to get people out of town, away from the fighting. Lord Callan fought by the king's side, but a few of his soldiers helped me. When a hunter got in our way, I killed him without hesitation. That's when I remembered the dagger hidden in the chest between my clothes. I immediately ran to the residence of Lord Callan, who kindly let us stay at his place. I couldn't let it fall into the hands of the hunters. I ran into the burning building. The flames usurped everything in their path. They wanted to take me too, but I didn't let them. I entered our bedroom. I fell to my knees by the chest, as if some kind of magic would protect it. It was the only thing that did not burn. I rummaged through my clothes to the bottom. I found it. It was still there. I still had it. I hid it under my clothes and ran away from that hell. The ceiling fell. Burnt pieces of wood blocked my way out. I fell to the ground. Liquid fire seemed to pour from the crumbling ceiling. It swallowed everything beneath it. I had to quickly move away. I scrambled to my feet. The acrid smoke burned my lungs. I couldn't breathe. A sharp glow blew out the window. Shards of glass flew around. They cut me. If I wanted to get out, I had to jump out of the window. We managed to drive off the hunters and extinguish the flames. Callan was destroyed again. Now, before the coming of winter, people were left with nothing, homeless, without food. And supposedly, we are the monsters destroying human lives. "Are you all right, Dragomira?" Cassius asked me. I was all dirty from ash and smoke. I had hunters' blood on me as well as my own. But I lived, thanks to Cassius, because of what he made of me. If it weren't for his blood circulating in my veins, I would have been scratched all over by the broken glass and maybe suffocated by the thick smoke entering my lungs. but I survived. I am, but the city isn't, I replied. They'll pay for it, he said. No one will attack my people with impunity. We should go back to Kilig, Cassius said as he looked at the wreckage that was left. We can't let them win, I argued. We can't show them fear. And what will your people think if... Our people, he corrected me. You keep forgetting you're a queen, Dragomira. What would our people think if we fled and fortified ourselves in the Red Palace, Cassius? I said. We have to show that we are strong, that we are not afraid. Let's show people that we stand by them. Hunters have that dagger, Cassius remarked. Their attack was no accident. I swallowed hard. The hunters don't have it, but I do. I wondered how Cassius would react if I gave him the dagger now. If I told him the truth. Every version of that story ended with torture and my death. I kissed him. I will protect you, my king, I said. The further north we went, the more we noticed the impact the hunters and northern armies left on our kingdom. There was fear and sadness. Dark clouds hovered over the northern borders with the kingdom of Odora. After the attack of the hunters in Kalon, Cassius was constantly tense. He expected another attack at any moment. He felt vulnerable when his dagger was in the hands of the enemy. I felt a little guilty because I could have ended his suffering, but I didn't. I had to protect myself if he would find out. Sometimes I wondered if he didn't trust me, or if it was actually me who didn't trust him. I couldn't trust even myself. We traveled to the northernmost city of Tosca. We traveled at night. We didn't stop. We couldn't afford to be caught off guard. Cassius traveled with me in the carriage. He said it was because he was watching out for me, but I knew very well that it was because I was the only one he allowed to see his weaknesses and fears. He didn't have to pretend he had a heart of ice with me. He was looking at the night landscape. A tense silence carried through it. The sounds of the night made him nervous. He heard hidden enemies in them. I saw how his fingers trembled. I sat on his lap. I kissed him to calm him down. He returned the kisses. There was a ferocity in them, an urgency to never end. He grabbed me by the waist and held me even tighter. I felt my heart beating in unison with his. Everything will be fine, Cassius. You'll see, I said to him. Hunters have never ventured so much before, he replied. They have a weapon against me. They have a king they want to put on the throne. It never would have gone this far if I hadn't been so blind to everything going on around me. It's not your fault, Cassius. It was going to happen one way or another. I objected. The hunters want to exterminate us. I must destroy them before they destroy us, he said. We must destroy them. I corrected him. You are no longer alone, Cassius. He kissed my neck. I felt his sharp fangs rub against my skin until they finally cut through it. A moan of pleasure escaped my lips as Cassius drank my blood. It felt so good. At dawn, we reached our destination. However, what we found there was not pleasant. The protector of the city, Lord Corvin, was chained to a stake, and the hunters and the assembled people waited for the sun to burn him. Your Majesty, apparently a riot has broken out here. The soldiers warned us about what was happening there. Vampires are monsters of the night. Demons cast out of the grace of the gods. They walk among us. They pretend to be like us while secretly draining the life out of us. The brave hunter's voice carried through the square. People didn't even notice that we had arrived. They focused their attention fully on the upcoming execution. I could see on Cassius that he was furious. This has gone too far. Human nature was too much overcome by the fear of the unknown, of something more powerful than themselves, not knowing that vampires have ruled over them in peace for centuries. And the hunters used that fear. They creep into our humble abodes at night, under cover of darkness, and suck the life out of unsuspecting sleepers. Continued the hunter, but the sun shows their true nature. It shines through the darkness and burns away all the evil that creeps into this world. And that's exactly what will happen to him. He pointed at Lord Corvin. It will burn to ashes the evil that has taken root in him and free this city from his evil. Dawn comes in a moment, Cassius. I told him because we couldn't let Lord Corvin get burned. I know, Cassius said with venom on his tongue and fire in his eyes. This anger did not belong to me. This time. While the people of Tosca starve, the lords enjoy themselves in their luxurious mansions. And all this depravity leads to the Red Palace, to King Cassius himself, the vampire king. Burn them all, screamed someone from the crowd, and they all repeated it in unison. Burn them all, out with the nobility. You can definitely try, but I can't guarantee how much blood will be spilled trying, Cassius spoke, a sinister smile gracing his lips. People turned to him. They gasped in horror. It was easy to curse the king when no one heard their words, but they were overcome with fear when they saw the cruel king standing right in front of them. Personally, I prefer to push my own hard, but my queen likes to negotiate about peace. So I'll make you an offer, said Cassius, gallantly kissing the back of my hand. What he said was a lie. In fact, I suggested that we burn the entire village to the ground and kill anyone who dared stand against us. Cassius is better, though. He's not what I always thought he was. He is a strategist. Even his cruelty is a well-calculated move on the chessboard of life. Release Lord Corvin, and I will let you live. Resist, and you all die, Cassius suggested to them. We don't negotiate with vampires. The hunter refused. This is your last chance to change your mind, Cassius said, hoping he would refuse. Never. The hunter gave him the answer he craved. Down with the vampire king, said the people. They were given a chance and made a bad choice. Cassius gave the order. The rebellion must be suppressed. The poison that the hunters spread was not allowed to spread to the rest of the kingdom. Just like in Calon, I wanted to rush into battle. It was my nature. But Cassius stopped me this time as well. Why? I did not understand. Because if they have that dagger, I don't want them to hurt you, Cassius replied. You think you can stop me, I said defiantly. Is that supposed to be a challenge? Cassius grinned. He picked me up in his arms. I couldn't stop laughing even though soldiers were fighting and shedding blood all around us. The screams of the dying carried through the air. He took me away from all the chaos, and I let him. I will never let anyone hurt you again, Dragomira, said Cassius. I'm the only one who can do it. I have a really big, big problem. I have a habit of having feelings for my enemies. After 2 months and a few days, we returned home to Red Palace in Kalig. For more than 2 months, my brother was in charge because Cassius did not trust his brother, Baal. The first snow has already fallen. A white blanket covered the vast landscape. The snow glistened beautifully in the moonlight. Smoke billowed from the chimneys of the houses. It rose to the heavens and melted into the void. Children were playing in the streets. They were throwing snow. They were building snowmen. They made snow angels. I could see my breath in the cold air. Although the cold won't kill me, I was still shivering. A warm fur coat kept me warm. Alexei welcomed us in front of the palace gates. Welcome home. I see you haven't ruined it here while we were gone. I smirked. Did you doubt, sister? He smiled back at me. I would never allow myself to do that, brother. We both laughed. We hugged. You've done a good job here, Alexei, Cassius said. Only minor, unexpected complications, Cassius said. Alexei and I walked through the snowy gardens. The flowers have already lost their beauty. The leaves on the trees were falling. Their bare branches reached toward the sky like voracious gnats. It started to snow. Snowflakes fell from the sky and merged with the snow cover on the ground. They got caught in Alexei's hair. They sparkled like little gems. How is it possible that the king is still alive? Alexei gave me a questioning look. I changed my plans a bit, I said. I saw you smile in his company, Dragomira. You were smiling sincerely, noted Alexei. Do you like him? Maybe, I said to myself with a smile. Admit to yourself that you fell in love with the king. Alexei grinned. I can see it in you. I have to say that the ice has been broken between us, I acknowledged. And nothing more. He looked at me with a mischievous sparkle in the eye. Even you didn't seem indifferent to the king. The truth is I desire him. He drank my blood, I admitted, and I drank his. I blushed. Alexei looked at me in shock. Dragomira, do you realize that you can't get out of this now? When you drink each other's blood, it's like making a promise to each other for eternity. I know Alexei, and I want to stay. I care about him, I said. So you're going to give him back the dagger? He asked me. No, I refused. If he knew I have it, he'd kill me. And on top of that, I have to figure out how to get rid of Balmor without being suspected of planning the murder of the king with him and Baal. They are a threat. You should trust him more. You know my trust is pretty shaky. Do you trust anyone? He gave me a mischievous smile. No, but I don't say it out loud. The royal guards came to my chambers. I recognized them. They were among those who betrayed Cassius as king and swore their allegiance to Balmor. Prince Baal requests your presence immediately. They informed me. I'll come when I feel like it, I said. However, the prince requests your presence immediately, they repeated. I am the queen. Prince Baal has no right to ask or expect anything from me, I retorted bossily. The prince has something that will surely capture your attention, your majesty. A mischievous smirk bloomed on their lips. I followed them to the royal tomb. Bale and Balmor were waiting for me there. Soldiers and hunters kept them company, as if they would prepare for war. But I wasn't afraid of them. "What do you want, Bale?" I asked him, irritated. "I think you must be missing why you're here, Dragomira," he replied coldly. "I see you've invited your entire army," I smirked. "Are you afraid I might do something stupid?" "You're always doing something stupid, Dragomira," he said. "Like, why is Cassius still alive?" "For personal reasons," I replied. "And aren't the personal reasons that you started to have feelings for him?" Bale asked me a question. "It's none of your business," I retorted. "You are unteachable," Dragomira, Bale said. "You always end up making the wrong choice." "Really?" I laughed. "You make Cassius a monster, but it was your hunters who attacked the innocent. What did the attack in Calon mean?" "We were giving you a chance not to be accused of murdering the king," Balmor replied. "There was chaos there. You had the best chance to kill him, but you didn't take it." "I'm sorry, but at that moment, I had other things to worry about than planning someone's murder, like getting people out of burning town." "How noble," said Balmor almost mockingly. "However, you were traveling with him for 2 months. You had many chances to correct that mistake, but you decided not to take any of your chances anyway." "That will probably be because I decided I'm done with your game," I said forcefully. "You're not finished," Dragomira, Bale said. "And how are you going to force me?" I laughed. "I didn't tell Cassius about you only because of our past, but that could change very quickly." "You didn't say anything to Cassius because you're protecting your own neck, Dragomira. You know very well that he would kill you if he found out. After all, you planned his death." I took a step closer to him, 2, 3. I was standing right in front of him. We stared at each other. "I won't do it," I said. "I won't kill him." "You will have no choice," Dragomira, Bale said. Bale waved at his soldiers and they brought my brother in chains from the shadows. He was injured, his face covered in blood. He looked as if he had experienced a crushing battle to the death, and he lost. But instead of death, he's tied up here like some kind of animal. "Alexei." I wanted to run to him, but Bale caught me. The hunters stood between me and my brother. I turned to Bale and violently pushed him away from me. He hit the wall hard and fell on the ground. I grabbed him by the neck and pushed him against the wall. The soldiers took a step towards us but did not intervene. They were on alert. "I'll kill you," I said angrily. "Everyone in this room." "You're strong and fast, Dragomira, but do you think you can make it before one of us kills your brother?" he said. "Look how many of us there are and you're here all alone." "We'll do barter. Let my brother go and I will not kill you." "You can try to kill me, but you won't save Alexei. There is only one way, Dragomira." "No," I objected. "You have no choice," he said. "You have to choose, Cassius or your brother." I had 100 urges to break his neck, stab him with a knife and let him bleed to death, but I let him go. I couldn't let my brother die. I wouldn't be able to save him. There were too many of them. "You finally made the right choice," Dragomira, Bale said. "Cassius was right about your family being your weakness. You will do anything to save your brother." I gave him a murderous look. He just laughed. You have time until dawn, otherwise Alexei will die, he told me. Do not be late. You don't want them both to die. Don't forget that Alexei is the only thing stopping me from ripping the entrails out of all of you. If he dies, I will come after you, and it will not be a merciful death. You can't hide from me anywhere. I told him. You'll regret ever knowing me. I didn't give him a chance to answer. I showed him my back and rushed to fulfill my task. I had to save my brother. I got him into this war. It is my duty to get him out of this as well. I ran. It seemed to me that time flew at the speed of light. I was running out of time too fast. Dawn was near. I entered Cassius' chambers. He was alone. He has always been alone since our wedding. His maids no longer kept him company. He was waiting for me. I clutched the dagger tightly behind my back. I was shaking. I knew what I had to do, but I was afraid. But I was determined. I had to do it, to damn one to save the other. I missed you, Cassius said. It's been a long day without you. He approached me and kissed me. I did not return the kiss. I was cold. I definitely couldn't afford to be weak now. Are you all right, Dragomira? He asked. I'm sorry, Cassius, I said in a small voice. What are you sorry for? He did not understand. I chased after him with a dagger. Cassius managed to back away, but the blade hit him. A red line ran across his chest. The wound did not heal. Deep red blood was oozing from it. Seeing him bleed was strange. It took my courage. The way he looked at me confused, betrayed. I'm sorry, but I have to save my brother, I said guiltily. I chased after him again with the dagger. I was furiously swinging the sharp. Cassius deflected my blows, but I managed to hit him a few times. But there were only scratches, nothing fatal. Cassius caught my arm and threw me across the room. I hit a stone pillar. The impact was strong. It took my breath away. However, I did not let go of the dagger. I was still holding it tightly in my hand. Before I could gather myself to my feet, Cassius grabbed me and pressed me against a cold stone. He held me by the neck. He held my hand and tried to twist the dagger out of my hand. I didn't let go. I couldn't afford it. Surprisingly, his grip was not strong, as if he himself was not sure about our fight. What do you mean you have to save your brother? He asked me. I didn't answer. I kicked him away from me with all my strength. We both fell to the ground. Neither of us held a dagger. It landed a short distance from us with a jingle. We exchanged glances from each other to the dagger and back. I went after the dagger. I caught it in my hand. Cassius took the crossbow that was hanging on the wall and aimed it at me. Shoot, I told him. Otherwise you won't stop me. He hesitated. For the first time, I saw him hesitate when killing. I took advantage of that and kicked him to his knees. He fell back to the ground. As he wanted to stand up, I pushed him back onto his back. I thrust the dagger into him, but my hand stopped. The tip of the blade was stuck in his chest, but it didn't penetrate the bone. I had a lump in my throat. I couldn't breathe. My heart was pounding in my ears. My head was spinning. Finish it, Cassius said with anger in his voice. There was anger in his voice, but there was sadness written in his eyes. He had every right to be upset. He had every right. He trusted me. He let me in his heart, and I betrayed him like that. Finish it, he repeated. Forgive me. A lone tear rolled down my cheek. I had to choose. My steps were weak. The legs did not want to hold the weight of the body. My eyes were red from tears. I had the feeling that at any moment the waterfall of tears could start again, which I would not be able to stop. When I went down to the tomb, I had to lean against the wall so I wouldn't fall to the ground. I was holding a bloody bag in my hand. Blood was dripping from it. It was leaving a trail behind me. They were all still in the tomb. They were waiting for my return. Only my brother was gone. I didn't know what they did with him. I threw the bloody bag at their feet. A dead heart rolled out of it. I tried to put on a stone face, but I failed. Both Bale and Balmor smiled. The soldiers laughed triumphantly. I knew you could do it, Dragomira, Bale said, tucking a loose strand of hair behind my ear. I shied away from his touch. I was disgusted by him. You could do it too, if you weren't so bad at fighting, I retorted. Bale laughed, unyielding to the last breath. Where is my brother? I asked him. First give me back the dagger, said Balmor. It burned up with Cassius' body as soon as I killed him, I said. Dragomira. Bale's voice sounded a warning. My brother's life is at stake. Do you think I would play with you here? Then whose heart is it? He asked. Tell me where my brother is, and I'll tell you whose heart it is. I smirked viciously. I lost my sanity that night. He deprived me of everything, and I had to fight for even that little remainder. I lost Cassius and my family. I was left alone. What have you done, Dragomira? I know this look of yours. Tell me where my brother is, and I'll tell you. He hesitated for a moment, but finally decided to answer. We threw him into the well in front of the cathedral. Whose heart is this? You know, dear Bale, Cassius has learned, unlike you, that threatening to kill my family has consequences, I said. I was constantly thinking about how it is possible that you know about everything I do, you know my every move. I found out. That mortal woman you fell in love with. Anastasia, right? I could see in his eyes that I guessed right. She obviously didn't want to be one of us, so she grew old. No wonder Cassius didn't recognize her as my servant. You took something from me, so I took something from you, I said with a mischievous smile on my lips. I made sure she was still alive when I carved her heart out of her chest so she could feel it as I held it in my hands. My mother, cried Balmor, falling on his knees to her heart, which I threw at his feet. You're crazy, Bale told me. You already knew that a long time ago, and you still provoked me into this state, I said. I guess Cassius and I aren't all that different. I turned to leave, but I turned to him one last time. Enjoy your punishment knowing that she called your name as she was dying for you to come save her. Balmor drew his sword on me. He blocked my way with it. You do realize you can't hurt me with that, right? I gave him a wicked smile. You have my crown on your head, he said. How impudent, I said. I think you should properly address me as your Majesty, the Queen. That crown belongs to me, he objected. On my head was the crown of Cassius. just like he used to let me wear it when he made me his that way. I'm leaving. I laughed at him and pushed his sword out of the way. And he was such a fool that he stuck it in me. You're not leaving with that crown. I whistled, and the royal guards burst into the tomb. His soldiers didn't even have a chance to draw their swords. They were caught. Those who tried to escape or defend themselves were executed on the spot. I pulled out the blade of his sword from my body. I am the rightful queen of Tosca. This kingdom stands by me, I said. Did you really think you could ever become king? You are human. You wouldn't last a month on the throne. The lords would throw themselves into the fight for the crown, and you simply wouldn't survive. Not that you'd even get a chance to fight for the crown, would he bail? I turned to him. The guards held him. He had an angry look on his face because I managed to fool him anyway. I know you too well to hide it from me. I turned back to Balmor. Bael never wanted to give you the crown. You were just a way for him to get the army on his side. He would kill you and crown himself king. You could have been my queen, but Cassius always had to claim everything for himself, Bael said. You must have planned this for a really long time, I said. And it still didn't work out for you because you underestimated me as always. There is a reason why Cassius chose me. I ran to save my brother. Dawn was dangerously close, and I had to get him to safety before it was too late. The royal guards did not come to help me. They had enough to worry about with the traitors in the palace. Alexei, I shouted as I approached the cathedral. Alexei. Dragomira. I heard his weak voice. Alexei. I ran to him. I arrived at an old stone well. I leaned over the edge. It was dark and I couldn't see anything. Alexei, I shouted inside. Dragomira, he called back. I'll help you, I said. I had to somehow get him out of there. I hated Bael for what he did. After all, his betrayal hurt more than Nathaniel's. I looked around for something to pull him out with. Finally, I used the chain they used to pull water from the well. I dropped the bucket and lowered the chain itself. Wrap it around your body, Alexei, I told him. You can pull, he said as he did as I ordered. I started pulling. Slowly but surely I pulled him out of the well. The chain slipped in my hands. I felt like it weighed about a ton. I managed to get him back to the surface. He grabbed the edge of the well. I gave him a helping hand. We fell into the grass. I hugged him, maybe a little too tight. He winced in pain. I'm so sorry, Alexei, I told him. This shouldn't have happened. I would give my life for you, sister, said Alexei. I know, but I don't want you to die for me, I said. He was covered in blood, wounded. It will take a long time to heal. If he were human, he would definitely not survive. I didn't take him to the Red Palace. I took him home. Alexei could barely stand on his feet. I had to hold him so he wouldn't fall to the ground. He was so strong. Despite his injuries and pain, he kept going. He didn't let anything stop him. He has always been more supportive of me than I have ever been of him. What happened? Father said, horrified as we burst in, running from the sun. A small war broke out in the palace, I replied. It took several days for Alexei's wounds to heal. Stupid magical hunter blades. They were not yet fully healed when he decided to return to the service of the king's guard commander. I insisted that he stay in bed for a few more days and heal properly, but he insisted that it was his duty. He didn't want me to worry about him. He always thought of himself as a big brother who should protect me and not me him. He was oblivious to the fact that I was the one who got him into all the trouble. Because he wanted to protect me, he accepted my punishments. No one in the palace missed me. Rather, I was worried about what would happen if someone started missing me. "Where are you going to go?" Alexei asked me as we were saying goodbye to each other. "I do not know yet," I replied. "I'm on the run now. I guess I'll do what my mother did so the king won't find me." "You forget that father finally found you," noted Alexei. "Yes, he did, but at least I'll have time to think about what to do next. I'll organize my thoughts first, and then I'll see." "Dragomira." There was pity in his voice, but I didn't want it. I didn't deserve it. It's my fault the situation I found myself in. "Give it back to the king." I handed Alexei the ring and my necklace as he was leaving. "Isn't that your mother's necklace?" He wondered. "I want him to have it," I said. And just as Alexei went back to his life, so I left, running away from my life. It's been forever since I saw the sea. The quiet sound of the waves carried across the land. I swam in the sun's rays shimmering on the sea surface. It was cold and the water was icy, but I liked the feeling of the cold stabbing my body and stealing my breath. I let the waves play with me. Now I was a puppet in their power. My eyes fell on a figure on the shore. He arrived. He found me. I swam to the shore. Water flowed from me. I sat down next to him in the sand. I was shaking. Just because I can't die doesn't mean I'm not cold. Cassius took off his coat like a gentleman and threw it gallantly over my shoulders. I snuggled into it and immediately felt warmer. We sat there next to each other, silent. We were looking at the distant horizon. Time passed slowly. "How did you find me?" I cut through the heavy silence between us. "When times are tough, we all always go back to where we began," he replied. "You didn't know where I grew up," I remarked. "I didn't tell you. First, I looked for you at your father's house. He refused to tell me, but Alexei willingly revealed it," said Cassius. "I'm sorry I couldn't come sooner. I have had many dealings with traitors in the palace, of whom there seem to have been many." "Did you come to finish it?" I asked him. "Finish what?" He didn't understand. "Punishing traitors," I replied. "I tried to kill you, and that's punishable by death." "You tried to save your brother, and even risked his life to find a way to save me," Cassius objected. "I knew about your son, about your brother's plans, and about the traitors on the court. I kept a secret before you that I have the dagger. I planned your death." Again, there was silence between us, broken only by the sound of the waves lapping the shore. "I want you back, Dragomira," Cassius spoke first this time. "Is that an order, Your Majesty?" I said. "I'm asking you to come back," he said. "Quite unusual for you to be asking instead of ordering," I said. Cassius opened his palm, clutching the ring and my necklace. "Why did you also return the pearl from your mother?" he asked me. All black pearls rightfully belong to the king, I replied. And his queen, he corrected me. I'm no queen, I protested. At least you are the queen of my heart, Dragomira, he said. Those words made my heart smile, but it didn't show on my face. Why did you decide not to kill me? He asked me. It would definitely be easier. Because I don't feel like a monster with you, I replied. Because I'm a worse monster. Because when I'm with you, I feel like it's okay to be a monster, I corrected him. Come back, Dragomira, Cassius demanded. I rested my head on his shoulder. Cassius looked at me in surprise. I looked at him. Our eyes met. He wrapped his arms around my waist and pulled me closer to him. What if I refuse? I said. Your brother has already volunteered to bring you back willingly or unwillingly, he said with a mischievous smile. Traitor, I laughed briefly. You once asked me if I had ever loved anyone. I made that mistake once. And who was the unfortunate one? You, Dragomira, he said. Don't expect any love letters or amorous nonsense from me. I would never have expected that, I said. But be sure that I will burn the whole world for you. Come back to me. I took the ring from his hand, turning it over in my fingers. Cassius took the ring and put it on my finger. We belong together, Dragomira, Cassius said. Only a monster can understand a monster. And you and I are monsters even among monsters, I said. I belong to you, Cassius, I know it. I can feel it. Maybe this is what love really looks like. It's not the butterflies in my stomach that tell me I love him, but the cruel, stabbing pain in my chest. Because love is not beautiful. It is hideous. We hurt each other, but at the same time, only we can heal each other from that pain. We were created from the same darkness. I love you, Cassius, I said. I love you, Dragomira, he said. And I would always rather choose the monster, even though the heart doesn't choose who it will love, because the hero would sacrifice me to save the world, but the monster will destroy the world to save me, and I will do the same for him. I can't believe she's mine. The woman who was forbidden to me by fate is suddenly mine. I wanted her to hate me. I did everything to make her hate me, but she couldn't do it anyway. I showed her my demons, and she sank into their darkness and called it her home. I used to want everyone to fear me. It was easier that way. I still prefer everyone to be afraid of me, and everyone is. That hasn't changed. But her love was much better. When she kissed me, as it should be for the last time, when she greedily drank my blood, the way she trembled when she let me drink hers. We were lying in bed. She was lying on top of me. Her head was folded on my chest. Her hair fell in her face. I carefully smoothed them away from her eyes. I didn't want to wake her up. I gently stroked her bare thigh with my fingertips. I loved it when she was so curled up in my arms. She smiled when she slept. I still couldn't believe that when I opened my eyes, she was lying next to me. You are my family now, Cassius, and I would die for you, she told me when I couldn't believe it was real. I don't want you to die for me, Dragomira. I want you to live for me, I said. Even 1,000 lives, she replied. As long as the stars shine and my heart beats, fate will not separate us. I will live only for you, Cassius. I desired her for so long, and now she's finally mine. She's only mine. Forever. And I will forever be hers. Hello, fans of Vampire Queen. Do you wish to read more about the story of Cassius and Dragomira? Then watch out. Free sequel. Story of Vampire Queen and Shadow Queen connected in the breathtaking sequel Gods and Dark Creatures. Two queen connected by fate. Both lost their loved ones. Together, they set on a dangerous journey to save them. Their way leads them into the tricky world of gods. Facing death and shadows, will they survive or end up in the void? Coming out on May 1st. Love, Tasha.